Good morning. It's 24th day of October 2022. The time now is 6:33. How are you doing? It's a new week, Monday. Hope you had a great weekend and starting your week on a positive note. A lot happened over the weekend, and of course the vetting ended on Saturday, and now the remaining bit is now for the committee to go and give their report, thereafter forward it to the president for the ultimate exercise of appointing all the nominees, either to appoint or reject those who will succeed to get to the cabinet secretary positions. Talk to us on our social media handles. My name is Victor Lo. Welcome to the program from whichever part of the country you're watching us from. It's now time for Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. I'm not alone. Let me start with Steph. Steph, yes.
You...
Is this maroon?
Yes.
Okay. Hold that. Maroon. But let me go to Doreen in green. Doreen, good morning.
You're so much an artist. Good morning to you, our viewers, and as usual, we always appreciate you making time joining us Monday through Thursday, 6:30 all the way to 10 a.m. And this morning we have quite an interesting show packed up for you. Much as, yes, Victor's talked about the vetting that took place last week, we are also aware that the CS nominee, Education, Ezekiel Machogu, talked about ensuring that there's going to be full digital or internet coverage if at all he gets appointed to that particular position. That will largely form the basis of our conversation this morning, even as we look at how to re-strategize education in our country. Also, taking cognizance of the fact that we are still on that CBC conversation, knowing fully well that the task force is still on that uphill task of seeing how best they can reform the education sector. That and so much more lined up for you this morning. Many thanks for making time. I'm Doreen Arange Okello. Steph.
All right, so maroon, I'm also having maroon, Victor. Yes, good morning to you. Today is Diwali, so happy Diwali to all the Hindus in Kenya and of course worldwide. Today is a day that people confused and were hoping would be a holiday, but the CS trashed the allegations or the confusion there about saying that today is not a holiday. However, we'll be here in GMK to tell you all about Diwali. Victor will be having that interview in a short while, so you are rightly tuned in. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Stephanie Ayata. Good morning, Marie.
Well, a very good morning to you, Victor, Stephanie there, and Doreen. And good morning to you for joining us here in Nairobi and across the country. We will bring you update on the news from when the president was at the Thanksgiving service yesterday in Kitui and much more, including updates on the drought situation in the country. I'm Marie Yambo. Our social media handles, remember, it's at KBC Channel 1 and at Marie Yambo on Twitter. Thank you for joining us this morning, and we kick off our bulletin where President William Ruto has reached out to political leaders, urging them to work together for the benefit of all Kenyans. Speaking at a Thanksgiving ceremony in Kitui, President Ruto said his government will serve all Kenyans regardless of their political affiliations. The president was visiting the Kitui County for the first time since his election in August.
President William Ruto attended a Thanksgiving service at AIC Kitui Township, where he reached out to all Kenyans to work with the government for the sake of development.
Mumeniambia kuhusu maneno ya ndugu yangu Steven. Steven ni ndugu yangu mkubwa, na akiwa tayari kufanya kazi na mimi niko tayari kufanya kazi na yeye. Mimi mwenyewe nimemtafuta huyo Steven, nimeketi chini na yeye, nikamwambia ndio hii serikali tuende pamoja. Akaniambia kwanza anataka kujaribu ya upinzani. So wacha jaribu kidogo, alafu tutaona vile. So there is no problem. Hata hii ya upinzani ni kazi pia. So there is no problem. Si tulisema kazi ni kazi.
The president also directed public servants to keep off politics and serve the citizens. The head of state promising to effectively address the problem of perennial drought and water scarcity in Kitui County.
Mimi nataka regional commissioner, county commissioner na wale wengine watusaidie kufanya kazi ya serikali. Weka amani, hakikisha mwananchi yako na ID, hakikisha yule ambaye anataka mambo yake ifanyike. Hiyo ndio kazi yenu. Hii ingine ya siasa tutakorogana na wale wa siasa.
President Ruto further indicated he will influence reforms in the police service and increase their budget.
Lakini mimi nataka niwaulize nyinyi wa Kenya, munisaidie tu kitu moja. Kila mtu alipe ushuru. Kila mtu tu alipe tax. Kwa sababu hii kazi yote haiwezi kufanyika bila ya pesa.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua assured residents of Kitui the government is enhancing security to avert clashes between farmers and pastoralists from neighboring counties.
Pia Mheshimiwa Rais, ningetaka kukujulisha ya kwamba tumefanya mipango kabambe, mambo ya usalama kwa zile shida zimekuwa hapa inaangaliwa vizuri na maofisa wako kwa ground na kazi inaendelea, na ni matumaini yetu ya kwamba kile kisa kilitokea hatutakuwa na marudio ya hiyo maneno.
Is Raila Odinga's political base warming up to Kalonzo Musyoka? Well, that is the question on everyone's lips if the event surrounding the Wiper leaders' two-day visit in Nyanza is anything to go by. Leaders in Nyanza commended Kalonzo for his unwavering support for the ODM leader in the last 3 general elections, saying this will not go unrewarded. Achola Simon has the details of that story.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has spent the weekend in Raila Odinga's political backyard, attending a burial in Homa Bay County and a church service in Kisumu County. The 2-day visit to Nyanza has ignited a debate about possible political realignment ahead of the 2027 political contest.
You must realize that the community that we have is our strength. The unity that we have is our strength. If we start now dividing ourselves into small pieces, we shall never get what we want.
Lazima tuendelee kushikana, tukae tumeungana kama mlengo wa Azimio, ndiposa tuweze kukosoa serikali tukiwa tuko united.
Is Kalonzo Musyoka's unwavering support for Odinga's presidential ambitions endearing him to the ODM leader's political bedrock?
But I can assure you, Honorable Kalonzo, that your stand with Raila will not go without a reward to you. God is great, and I can tell you, God is with us.
The leaders urged the Kenya Kwanza administration to keep the promises it made on the campaign trail.
Your Excellency Kalonzo and Raila Amolo Odinga, we shall stand with you so that we rescue this country.
As showing that we are going to have more suffering, where you have a government which does not believe in subsidizing the poor. It does not believe in subsidizing those who cannot have a square meal. I can tell you that kind of politics and economics will not get us anywhere.
Kalonzo Musyoka steered clear of the subject and instead chose to address matters IEBC.
Nobody should dare touch the 4 commissioners who are continuing commissioners, because they showed in their own way their sense of professionalism and they were not afraid.
Wafula Chebukati, Boya Mulu and Abdi Gulie's term at IEBC end on 15th January 2023.
To some sad story now, where the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is mourning the death of its lead creative designer, that is Boniface Muganda, who was hit by a speeding motorist on Saturday night along the northern bypass in the Nairobi metropolitan area. Muganda, who was attached to the Corporate Communications and Public Affairs unit, was headed home on his motorbike when he was hit by a speeding vehicle. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation says it is probing the incident.
Through its Twitter page, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations confirmed the demise of its lead creative designer who met his untimely death after being hit by a speeding motorist while on his way home on his motorbike. According to first responders who rushed the detective to Kenyatta University Hospital after the 9 p.m. incident, Muganda breathed his last at the hospital gate. His demise spread across the closely knit DCI family first. Muganda has been termed as a hard-working, self-driven and dedicated officer who performed his duties outstandingly and got along well with colleagues. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations on its official Twitter handle said the late, who was attached to the Corporate Communications and Public Affairs Unit, was a gifted communication officer whose skill in photography, videography and graphics design propelled him to the head of creative design desk at the DCI's Communications Unit. Among other assignments, Muganda covered last Thursday's Mashujaa Day celebrations at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi County. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations say probe into the accident have already begun, even as it called on motorists to be mindful and courteous to other road users.
Now, detectives in Marsabit County are investigating an incident in which an officer based at the Moyale police station shot dead 2 of his colleagues and injured 2 others before turning the gun on himself. Lawrence Kumba waylaid his colleague Noah Odero, snatched his gun and shot dead 2 other officers. Kumba is reported to have shot another officer in the shoulder before rushing to his house and shooting himself. Now, a section of families of victims of alleged police brutality in Embu County have called on the government to expedite investigations into the alleged 50 cases reported in the county within the last 3 years. The families claim that despite reporting the cases, very little or nothing at all has been done by the investigating agencies.
To me, and the joy that I have always I had lost. Probably this is one of the phones which I have kept for long. Zote zilikuwa zina head up na watu wa bar, nawapatia, wananipatia pombe, even viatu, na uza viatu na nunua chipa viatu.
In Garissa County are seeking intervention in response to the biting drought in the region. The faithful congregated at the Garissa Primary School grounds to hold special prayers for rainfall, even as leaders appealed to the neighboring counties to help local farmers with fodder to feed their livestock.
Garissa County has been placed in the alert phase by the National Drought Management Authority following the long dry spell. In response, the Muslim faithful gathered at the Garissa Primary School to hold special prayers called Salatul Istisqa, hoping that their cries for rainfall will be heard.
Ng'ombe, mbuzi na ngamia zimeanza kukufa na wamekufa. Na watu ambao walikuwa wanategemea kina mama, wazee, watoto, bia sasa hali yao ni hali ya makhtuti.
Area Governor Nadif Jama, who joined the faithful in the prayers, appealed to neighboring counties to supply Garissa farmers with fodder to enable them to feed their livestock.
When our livestock, come to your counties, wasifanyia vibaya. They should be accommodated because this is a crisis which is natural. It's not in our hands. And these are livestock people, they move with their little livestock.
Sisi kama wakazi ama kaskazini mashariki wa Kenya hatujapata mvua miaka 4 na nusu.
But as locals seek divine intervention, the government is moving to ensure those in need of relief aid receive the supplies. Garissa Deputy Governor Abdi Dagane flagged off 4 trucks of relief food to cushion drought-stricken families in the region.
In the next few days, we will be supplying more food. We have been doing water tracking for the past 3 months in these areas. 18,000 households that are seriously affected by this drought.
We will join hands with the county government in the spirit of cooperation and collaboration to ensure that we save the lives of our people.
The relief food is set to benefit some 5,000 households, even as the Deputy Governor called for more support from the national government to aid the county.
Leaders in Kisii County are calling for the establishment of a cultural center where heroes and heroines from the devolved units can be honored for their exemplary work. Kisii County Commissioner Alan Macharia said the national government will offer requisite support to ensure the plan is successful.
Kisii County is home to several personalities whose exemplary work has not only been noted across the country but globally. Among the heroes is 87-year-old Stephen Mabea, who is among the first Africans to head a school in Kenya. Mabea says he helped transform education at Kisii Primary School, among other schools, during the post-colonial era.
The independence, tulikuwa na syllabus moja sasa. Haikukuwa na ya Asians na Africans. Lakini hawa wazungu na Wahindi walikuwa hawaijui. Mimi ndio nilienda na nikaianzisha na nikaanza kufundisha walimu wafuate syllabus. Na wakati nilipoanza hiyo watumie hiyo syllabus, nianza kuwafundisha jinsi ya kutengeneza scheme of work kutoka kwa syllabus. Na nikawaambia ile syllabus ambao walikuwa nayo haitumiki. Na kwa baada ya miaka 3 Kisii Primary ikatangulia Kisii mzima.
Area leaders are calling for establishment of a cultural center that will, among others, honor heroes and heroines from the devolved area for their exemplary work. Their sentiments were welcomed by Kisii County Commissioner Alan Macharia, who pledged the national government support in the plan.
I want to join hands with the Honorable Governor on the issue of creation of the cultural center. As he said, it is long overdue, and I am happy that you have promised to take it up. I want to assure you that we shall offer all the necessary guidance as the national government in ensuring that we set up the cultural center.
Two stories making headlines in the countries, and a drug rehabilitation center in Kiambu County has been lauded for its efforts in rehabilitating drug addicts. Beneficiaries say the Silwan Treatment Center has been a pillar in the war against drug abuse and has helped youth find value in life again. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the country.
Recovering drug addicts at the Silwan Treatment Center in Kiambu County are calling on the government to redouble efforts in the fight against the sale and use of banned substances.
Centers wanna play a very major role, because they are like when we go to church, there is this session we are given, the altar call. So when we are called, all those souls who are willing to call Christ to come to Christ, so these rehabilitation centers are like altar calls to those who are lost.
Elsewhere, parents and guardians with children living with disability have been cautioned against hiding the children and instead seek assistance in managing their challenges.
We are willing to support you guys, and please educate them, give them a safe place in our society.
In Kakamega County, 2 men aged 39 and 22 respectively from the village of Elwanda Shianda, Mumia's East constituency, have been killed by angry citizens after allegedly stealing cattle. Confirming the incident, the acting chief of Butsoso West, Gilbert Mutende, urged the public not to take the law into their own hands.
Nafaa kitendo kama hiki kipatikana, kama umepata mhalifu, heri mlete ripoti kwa serikali ili tuchukue hatua ifaayo.
In the meantime, county governments have been challenged to increase budgetary allocation for agroforestry in order to mitigate against rampant deforestation, besides providing a livelihood for rural households.
County governments across the counties to put this in their
plans as well and adopt strategies at the county level, and to have it mainstreamed, or not necessarily even mainstreamed, as core function really within the CIDP plan, so that then we are setting aside resources to see that farmers are adequately supported to be able to adopt agroforestry.
In Kiambu County, residents of Nyambare and its environs are decrying increased cases of vandalism in the area. In less than a month now, approximately 5 cars in different buildings have been broken into at night, with residents now appealing for security to be beefed up.
Jaribu kufanya uchunguzi wetu, tukawahi kijana moja ambaye anatusaidia na uchunguzi. Tutajaribu kuweka patrol zetu zaidi, na I believe tutawakamata hivi karibuni.
And the escalating forest fires across various protected areas within Makueni County have prompted Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. to immediately ban any form of logging within the devolved unit. The governor accused loggers of being behind the forest fires so as to be allowed to cut down drying trees for timber.
It is a cartel, and we will not allow you to deplete our forest cover with the excuse of logging and burning our forest. Nimeuliza Kenya Forest Service together with the county commissioner watusaidie so that we can stop some of these fires.
We now shift gears to sports, where Kenya's Kibiwott Kandie produced an outstanding performance to win the Valencia Half Marathon. Kandie reclaimed the title with a masterful run, clocking 58 minutes and 9 seconds. Kandie won the title in 2020, clocking a new world record time of 57 minutes 32 seconds, though the record was later shattered by Uganda's Jacob Kiplimo. Ethiopia's Yomif Kejalcha came in second, while Kenya's Daniel Mateiko completed the podium dash. The women's race was won by German Constance Kloschelhafen, who clocked 65 minutes and 41 seconds. Now, Sarah Mawira, Kagure Maina and Aliyah Mweba emerged victorious as the curtains came down on the Nairobi County Aquatic Association Level 3 Swimming Championship at the McKinney School. Over 500 swimmers took part in the 3-day championship, all eyeing a slot to represent Kenya in the Kana Zone 3 Championship set to be held in Arusha, Tanzania.
Sarah Mawira, Kagure Maina and Elijah Weber took the first 3 positions respectively in the girls 14 and 15 years 400 meters freestyle.
I just finished my 100 meters butterfly. It was very tiring, but I finished strong, and it was a great race because I got to compete with other people who are much stronger than me, and that motivated me to go faster. People asked me what was I looking for in the race, and I said I don't have a time. All I know is I want to keep up with the person in front of me, and I don't want to give up.
In the 8 and 9 years girls 100 meters breaststroke, Akinyi Auka clocked a time of 1 minute 51.66 seconds ahead of Luisa Kimani and Neila Agwikunda, who settled for the second and third place respectively. In the boys 12 and 13 years 200 meters breaststroke, Neo Olenga clocked 3 minutes 6 seconds to finish ahead of Frank Nyingi, who settled for second place with a time of 3 minutes 16.92 seconds.
I came from doing 200 meters freestyle. I placed third in my heat. I improved my time by 9 seconds. And you know, like when you have a big improvement like that, it's really encouraging because it shows that all the training that you've done, it's actually amounted to something. In the near future, I want to beat 30 seconds for 50 meters freestyle. That's my current time. I hope to get like 20 to 29 seconds today.
In the men's overall standings, Brewband Swimming Club led with 34 medals, 18 golds, 6 silver medals and 10 bronze, with Bellevue Raptures and Brookhouse Swimming School taking second and third place with 11 and 12 medals respectively. King Orimwangi for Channel 1 Sports.
And to the world event that every football fan and player is looking forward to, that World Cup holders, France, have a manageable, that is World Cup holders, France, face a manageable and familiar group as they seek to defend their title in this year's World Cup in Qatar. The draw has pitted the world champions against Denmark and Tunisia, as well as intercontinental playoff winner, that is Australia. This year's World Cup, remember, will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
what it is.
The Didier Deschamps Chargers, who are fourth in the FIFA rankings, will open their title campaign against Australia. The group will see a repeat of 3 teams who faced each other at the same stage of the global showpiece in Russia in 2018. France, Denmark and Australia were all part of Group C in that tournament, with France and Denmark advancing and Australia finishing last. Australia beat Peru in a penalty shootout to clinch a ticket to Qatar, having first had to overcome the United Arab Estate in an earlier playoff. On the other hand, Denmark had won 8 out of 8 matches without conceding a single goal, but a defeat in their final game, long after their spot in Qatar had been signed and sealed, was another disappointment, although Denmark still finished top of Group F, 4 points clear of second place Scotland. Entering Africa qualification in the second round, Tunisia began well with 3 wins from 3 games before a draw in Mauritania and defeat in Equatorial Guinea threatened to stand their campaign. However, they rebounded to win their final match, a comfortable 3-1 home win over Zambia, to finish the group as winners, 2 points above Equatorial Guinea. The FIFA World Cup games will be held in Qatar from November 20 and will be beamed live on KBC Channel 1.
Forward come Oman again. Salah. Chance for the shot on goal. What a goal! What a strike! Arshad Al-Alawi.
You know what it is.
Now we take a short break before we come back with more in the headlines.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again.
Unahema vipi baada ngoma moja MC? Baada ngoma moja tu ha? Yela na Silver live and direct ndani ya KBC Shoni Grapevine. Keep it locked. Kong.
Enter party, all the girl them go shake their body.
Nasikia walevi huota na bia, lakini kuna siri ndawaibia leo.
Michael Adebayo Olanyika, being his true name, is known for his mega hits like Girlfriend, Bounce, Dior and Snapchat.
Bad man drift to the car, spot cars parked on the right spot. Bad man slick and you know, bad man looking good in the air.
Influencer of the Year award goes to Beryl Itimbi.
The winners are the TMI podcast.
I never used to believe in love.
Songea tukupashe na zile ambavyo vitakupa tabasamu tosha.
Hana mapenzi wala mahaba, mtoto mbaya sana huyu.
What did you just say? Sio tamthilia tu.
And why you're saying that yeah.
Ni tamthilia tosha.
Alinishika hivi. What?
Sio burudani tu, ni burudani tosha.
It is the day that the Lord has made.
Na sinema bomba.
Enda kabisa kama uelewi kitu inafaa uelewe.
Na mada za kusisimua. KBC Channel 1, shirika la utangazaji Kenya.
Exactly 3 minutes past the top of the hour. You're still on Good Morning Kenya. Time for our second segment this Monday morning. We now look at what the different dailies are holding for you, starting you off with a copy of the Daily Nation. And now, as it stands, there's plans to fold Kenya Kwanza parties into UDA, and this kind of conversation is really quite drawing mixed reactions amongst parties in Kenya Kwanza, whereby what you're having here is that actually there's a proposal to have all political parties in Kenya Kwanza Alliance wind up and join UDA, and this is in preparation for the 2027 general election, just as it were in the previous election where we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta as then folding parties to form Jubilee Party. This is now the conversation happening in Kenya Kwanza, but then as I mentioned, really is rattling feathers there, because then there's really quite mixed reactions on whether or not that this should happen. In fact, just going by what one of the leaders is saying there, that is Mr. Esau Kioni. He is saying that it will be like taking us back to the old days. Folding to join UDA is not possible because it will bring to an end the culture of talking to each other. So we're to see how all this will pan out at the end of the day. Very quickly, also inside the hungry villages of Turkana, still continuing on that issue of matters food security as well as drought. In fact, also what we're getting is that perhaps this could be declared a national disaster. We also are aware that last year in November, the former president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, clearly also declared drought a national disaster. So, but then also the rhyme of question is that in the event that this is declared a national disaster, what difference does it make, given the fact that we know that quite a number of Kenyans are really facing this issue? In fact, as we speak, we're talking about 4.5 million Kenyans. In Turkana alone, we are talking about 500,000 who right now still are grappling with the issues of food security. There has been quite a number of interventions, but again, we keep talking about when can we get a final and possible better solution to curb matters of drought and food security as a whole. And lastly, inside plans to pull troops out of Somalia. In fact, this is the main read on the Daily Nation this Monday morning, and just with 2 years and 2 months to the deadline set by the African Union transition mission in Somalia, the restoration of Somalia into a fully fledged democracy running its own affairs as envisaged by the United Nations could just be a pipe dream. The Kenya Defense Forces have been in this particular country for the past 2 years, and now there's been conversations on whether or not to take them out of Somalia. So this is what this article is also equally covering for you today. Steph.
All right. So with me here is the People Daily, and I'll take you through some of the stories making news. On the front page, Kalonzo warns Ruto over hiring of new IEBC bosses. It goes on to say the Wiper Party leader addresses a press conference. That's the photo that has been put there. After a chat service in Kisumu yesterday, he asked the government to involve Azimio in selecting Wafula Chebukati's successor to avert chaos. And there's been a lot of speculation over whether the Wiper Party leader is the one to take over the leadership of the opposition. This is because while Raila has been out of the country, Kalonzo has been issuing statements on behalf of the Azimio movement in response to President William Ruto's policy actions, with the Azimio coalition still trying to find its footing after being trounced by Ruto. Kalonzo has lately sought to break the lull that has hit the opposition since the new government was inaugurated last month. To another story still on the front page, a probe Kinoti in spotlight. This is after this is because 4 detectives are likely to be charged today over the abduction of 2 Indian IT experts as investigations put former DCI boss in the spot following allegations that some of the special unit officers received irregular orders. And at a glance, senior officers at the special units were among those who were quizzed before the decision to charge 4 of them was taken. And the investigation started after the president ordered that the unit linked to extrajudicial killings be disbanded. Also, some of the officers now claim that they were coerced to take illegal orders, but there's a law that speaks on that, which says Section 51 of the National Service Act only mandates officers to carry out lawful orders, and that could expose those who are confessing to executing illegal orders to prosecution. Incidentally, the same law also shields officers from prosecution for failing to obey unlawful commands. And the last story is that the Kenyan athletes all set for top honors. This is the World Marathon record holder Mary Kaitanyi, who's to be inducted into the U.S. Sports Hall of Fame. If you want the story, you will get the whole of it on page 28 on Matters Sports. That's about it from People Daily on the front page. Marie.
Well, I look at the Standard now, where the headline is Police Seek Clues on Missing Indians in Container Death. So investigations going on there. In as far as the disbanded SSU, if you remember, unit was disbanded, I think sometime last week. So forensic investigations going on there, and especially in connection with the Indians and their taxi driver, John Obunde, who was apprehended in Kawangware some time back. So that story making headlines there on the Standard newspaper. President Ruto says Kalonzo has refused to work with us. So that is also a story there on the front page of the Standard newspaper, where President Ruto is also hoping to work with Kalonzo Musyoka in as far as development agenda is concerned in his region. Poor rains blow to Ruto's food security plan. That is also a story being highlighted there in the front page of the Standard newspaper, where counties are actually cutting down on their development budgets to sort out the issue of drought in their counties. So all that, you will find them in the Standard newspaper. So from me, it's goodbye for now. My colleagues still continue with Good Morning Kenya until on Thursday, God willing. I'm Marie Yambo.
All right, on the front page of the Star newspaper, inside Kalonzo's plan to take over Raila's stronghold, the former vice president seems to be borrowing from President William Ruto's playbook. Wiper Boss has started debate over intent to succeed Raila Odinga. Over the last 2 days, Kalonzo has been camping in Nyanza, that is Homa Bay, and in Kisumu region. Mudavadi, this is how I will restore trust in government. Prime Cabinet Secretary nominee Musalia Mudavadi has said that he will restore the trust Kenyans had in government after he assumes office. He said that his office is the fulcrum upon which delivery of public services will be measured, and therefore a place where public trust will be cultivated. Very quickly, race to replace IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati starts. President William Ruto has started the succession process at the IEBC. The president on Saturday put out a public notice to constitute a panel for the recruitment of the next IEBC chairman and 2 commissioners. And finally, on the front page, cop kills 2 colleagues' self in Moyale. This happened after an officer based at the Moyale police station in Marsabit killed 2 of his colleagues, injured others before killing himself. 2 activists want NPSC boss Kinuthia out of office. Okumu denies claims that they are being used to settle scores. 2 activists have petitioned the National Assembly to eject him from office. Evans Okumu and Josephat Masinza want the NPSC chairman investigated and hounded out of office over what they claim is mishandling of police officers' affairs. Very quickly, and finally, inside Kalonzo's plan to inherit Raila's staff. Now, these are the highlights of Kalonzo's action to endear himself to Raila's stalwarts, intensify political visits to Raila bases, enhance criticism of Ruto government, and finally attend church and funeral functions in key regions. And Dan Manzo, who is a key ally to Kalonzo, has been saying that he's actually starting to take charge of the opposition now that Raila Odinga and Martha Karua have been away for some time, so it is now in the place of Kalonzo Musyoka. And finally, President Ruto in aggressive push to appeal to rival regions. He has been traversing opposition strongholds for prayer meetings and seen as a move to wrest control from the region. From his long-term political foe, Raila Odinga, Ruto has lined up a series of Thanksgiving and church services every Sunday across the country. That is what's on the Star newspaper. We will be continuing this discussion later on in Iron Politics. All right, so today is Diwali. Many Kenyans thought that it was going to be a public holiday, but it's not. It's just a calendar in the Hindu tradition. All right, so today I want us to focus on that and understand more about Diwali and what it's all about and why it's not a holiday for you. All right. We have Kamal Gupta, who is going to be joining me via Zoom for us to talk about this. Kamal Gupta is the chair, Hindu Council of Kenya. There you have her. First of all, happy Diwali, Gamal.
Wish you a very happy Diwali, and to all my viewers and listeners, to all my Kenyan brothers and sisters, lots of greetings, lots of good wishes on this Diwali.
Very well. Why is it not a holiday for the entire nation? That's many Kenyans perhaps are disappointed by this.
Okay, Diwali is the biggest, most important and most loving festival in Hindu tradition. And we celebrate this festival for quite some time, and then we extend our good wishes, our greetings to all our brothers and sisters. So consider this as a most important festival, the expectations being an integral part of this great nation, Kenya. We always pray and we always pledge to our leadership that to extend Diwali as a recognized festival for Hindu brothers and sisters. And I wish to humbly request each one of you to please celebrate Diwali with lots of loves, greetings, and togetherness.
It's also referred to as the Festival of Light. Why so?
Okay, there is a good story, which is primarily, this is the day when God Rama, who came from exile, and then he has been given a responsibility to run the whole leadership. So in that case, this is the day when he was being brought in, and everyone pray and everyone celebrate. That's how this is the day being actually born on evilness and actually getting maybe togetherness, and life has to be on the lighter side. Light has to be in each of our lives to making sure that we live happily, prosperity-wise, as well as health-wise, which is very important in today's system. So as in Hindu tradition, this is a festival of light where we pray every God that everyone's life has to be with full of light and happiness and togetherness.
All right, Kamal, it's a festival that is being celebrated in Kenya, and it started many decades ago. How are you going to mark it this time around, having in mind that Kenya is facing a lot of problems, specifically drought?
Yes. So if you have seen every time, specifically when we talk about last 2 to 3 years, which are very tough and very challenging for the entire nation, and our brothers and sisters were having great challenge in this COVID time, this Hindu community came forward with best of our capability and our strength to extend our helping hand. And this has been recognized by our leadership, our president, our country, our brothers and sisters, to see that yes, we as a community are being extending whatever best possible in terms of whether medicines, food, or whatever. So this is how our way of celebrating festival also. Just even day before yesterday, we celebrated this festival where we organize national Hindu prayer and mega donations. So our idea is to celebrate this Diwali, to extend our helping hand to our brothers and sisters. Those are having tough time, even by doing this famine relief, whether by doing this extending our medicines, medical facilities, whatever possible. So we feel like that when we extend happiness to our brothers and sisters, this is how the best way to celebrate this Diwali. So rest assured, and that is what our entire community is extending our good wishes, but at the same time our helping hand to our brothers and sisters, those are facing this tough time. And definitely we are integral, and we are extending this Diwali as a reason to actually take the smile to the faces who are having this tough time.
Engineer, it sounds like it's an interesting kind of moment for you, but perhaps something that we don't know about it. Something that we don't know about Diwali?
Diwali, as I mentioned, that Diwali is a festival of togetherness, extending love, extending affection, extending help to the people, those are in need, and actually bringing everyone together. So with this note, with this thought, Diwali is the festival which is being celebrated in Kenya, as you rightly said, for several decades, and we are all ensuring that the celebration has to be meaningful. And that is what we briefed upon. So definitely this is the most important and biggest festival in Kenya. And we, on behalf of entire Hindu community, extend our good wishes to the leadership of the country, to each and every my brothers and sisters in this great nation, Kenya, to celebrate and enjoy this Diwali with which is a festival of light, with the smile, beautiful togetherness and colorful day. And I'm hoping that God is going to bless each one of us with whatever the expectations, whatever the thoughts are, and whatever the desires are. So God bless my great country, Kenya, my great countrymen, Kenyans, all.
Absolutely. And we should expect a lot of fireworks today and celebrations across the streets, temples, schools. Am I welcomed? Somebody who is a non-in?
Every time. All are welcome. That's what I repetitively mentioned. Diwali is a festival of togetherness. So I would be grateful that you come forward, and each and every my brothers and sisters, please participate. Please extend your greetings to us, receive our greetings. And see, this festival is ensuring and extending that, yes, we are all together and we are all celebrating. We are all fighting to the tough time, whether it was the COVID time, whether it is drought time. So let's fight together, let's remain together, stick together to have our greater future of our great country, Kenya.
All right, Engineer, it's a moment to rejoice and have some sense of renewal. But what is the history of Diwali, of the Festival of Light?
Yes, so Diwali is in the mark of celebrations when God Rama, who came from exile after a long duration, and he fought with the bad and evil. So when he came back, then whole country, whole people around him, they all celebrated this as a mark, and then this was being for ages been marked as Diwali is a festival of light, because here there is a new beginning, there is a new start for your life, because you all believe that it's always the truth and good is always best on any bad thing. So that's how we have to adopt good trend, good peace and harmony together in our own system, our own personality, and remain together and work together and celebrate together. So as I mentioned that Lord Rama, who came, whenever we greet also, we greet with a holding hand as Namaste, and also say Ram Ram. So our belief is very, very strong that God Rama, who came after fighting to very many evil things, when he came back, and everyone celebrated this as a mark on celebration on Festival of Light, Diwali, and this is there on the tradition for ages. So we all feel like this is actually win on evil, win on bad things, win on bad habits even. So we all make this as a mark where we feel like that let's adopt in our life good deed, good habits, and at the same time help each other, work together, celebrate together, and that is how this Diwali is continued. Not only limit to, as I mentioned, within Hindus, but we extend our greetings to all our brothers and sisters in Kenya. We receive greetings from everywhere. We receive greetings from interreligious, our leadership. So I'm very grateful, thankful to each one of you who actually are getting together. And as I invited you to please come forward, be part of this celebration. We are all one, and we are all working towards best of our country.
Absolutely. There is that bit of the celebration. It's time for families, friends to come together, and the faithfuls are encouraged to rid themselves of anger, hatred, etc., etc. But there is one important bit where it's a time to seal old business deals. I'm quite interested in that. Why?
Okay, you fantastically picked the very good thing, because this is how, when we say that from now we see this day is being marked as a celebration for celebrating victory over evil, good adaptation, good habit, good practices. Again, business is also one of our integral part. We as a community try to work towards betterment of the society, and at the same time working towards businesses. So we consider this day also as a prayer day, where we say that, okay, let's start our new day and new year for our businesses also, where we do the best for our surroundings, and best practices would be followed. And that's how these are prayers and everything being taken as a part of. And yes, as I rightly mentioned in my communication, that this is primarily for everyone who are getting together, because businesses also are always been a very important part in our life, because we have to strengthen everyone's prosperity, everyone's life, the food on their plates. So let's head together. Let's start this as Diwali as a mark of celebrations and celebrations, and at the same time, good practices had to be adopted way forward.
Wow, amazing. So I think I can also settle my business deals with my friends on this day. But you can let me ask you, Diwali has got 5 days of celebration, and each day has, a significance. Please, very quickly, could you please just take us through the meaning of each day, starting today?
Yes, so we started these 5 days as a major celebration days, and all these days are being actually to adopt different practices. Like we do the Dhanteras, that's 1 day of praying and celebrating, where even businesses and money has to be prayed that yes, Lord Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi, give us and bless us with the money, with the prosperity. That is one of the most important. Then we, second day, we pray to different way as far as extending our good wishes and greetings to our community, at the same time people, those are around. Third day is the celebration, where we take fireworks and prayer to our God Ganesha and Goddess Lakshmi. And that's how the fourth day also move it as a connecting together. So if you see throughout those 5 days, different prayers have been conducted, and all those prayers are being taken for our friends, families together, those who are surrounding us, getting together. And you have seen that even these days, these 5 days, everyone goes to each other's house, give the greetings, give the some, whether it is gift or whether it is good wishes. And as I just mentioned that 22nd of October, 2 days back, we organized at a countrywide, this was countrywide National Hindu Prayer and mega donations. So all our Hindu community institutions, they organize donations. So this is how we say that, okay, this is love and affection to our brothers and sisters, those are around, getting together. Let's celebrate this these 5 days of celebrations and enjoy this festive time.
Absolutely. Okay, we've just from an election, and the Hindu community played a very key role in an election. How are you going to connect the two now that we had a peaceful one?
We are very pleased, and we all pray as entire Kenyan community. We all pray for this peace and harmony within our brothers and sisters, and we are very happy. We hope that now country will progress, go on to the higher and higher. And as an Hindu community on this special day, I extend my leadership and entire my brothers and sisters that to have the prosperity in this country. Food on each one's plate, business, because we need to grow at the highest pace as Kenyans, and we have to really make ourselves as a reference for many others, because this is what our objective. I know that we are very intellect, we are very knowledgeable and very strong as a techno-commercial community. And when we say our Kenyans, they have put references in Africa and many other nations on many different fields. So let's continue doing, and let's all put our more efforts to make our country as a great country in this world, and be recognized as we are one nation and one people, and to ensure that our growth has to be on the highest path. So with this prayer, with this note, with this togetherness, I hope that we will take this new journey of our great leadership to the highest pace.
Amazing. You know, when you talk about the Hindu community, and Kenya is predominantly, quote unquote, a Christian nation, but when you see the kind of cohesion between different faiths in the country, how does that make you feel?
I'm amazed. I'm telling you, my great nation, my people are so good and so together. That is a reference which anytime I give this as an example, that our Kenya is a great example of living together, stay together, help each other, and really progress and growth. As you know, Hindu community is part of our great interreligious establishment, where we have all other religion and all other communities. But for us, country is first. For us, religion is definitely making us getting together, not to partisan or maybe keeping apart separate. No, because every religion teach good practices. Every religion teach that let's work for the best for the people. That's how you see Nar Seva Narayan Seva. That's how we always believe. If you are serving to the people, you are serving to the God. So with this kind of thought, with this kind of universalness, what our religion, what our tradition is being told, we are very pleased. Our brothers and sisters, I always take Hindu community with the open hand. I'm really humble to have such a great people, such a great nation. So I say that all over the world, people should learn from Kenya that how all the religion can stay together. And yes, I give this message to Hindu community as well as others, that we have to always keep nation as first. Religion is definitely to mean of getting together. But yes, we have all of us one motive, one Kenya, and our country has to be the greatest. So with this note, I always say that we are very humble, very appreciable towards our brothers and sisters, because they always accept, they always enjoy, they always celebrate with us on various occasions. And we are always humble, and we always feel like we have to give this as an example to all over the world.
Chairman, there is this bit of, quote unquote, gambling. The goddess of Parvati, it's said that they gambled with the husband. And it's also just a belief, not a fact, that when you gamble the night of Diwali, then the following year you would be prosperous. This is just but a belief. I believe so, right?
Absolutely. The way I mentioned that goddess Lakshmi is a goddess of wealth and prosperity. So when we pray all together on this night and the evening,
they play the dice during that day, right?
Yes, So this is the specific when we pray all together. This is primarily to pray for health, wealth, and prosperity, and especially when we say wealth and prosperity, that's how Goddess Lakshmi is being prayed.
Okay, so Diwali is not complete without lights, fireworks, and firecrackers, and we should expect that today. Kenyans should be ready, more so Nairobians.
Okay, so I mentioned that we have to be humble as best as possible. We have to definitely celebrate Diwali in the best possible way together, our brothers and sisters. But we have to be also careful that there should not be any waste of money. Rather, that money has to be extended for the best cause, like we discussed on the famine relief. And I'm very humbled at that. Many of my community members, many of my brothers and sisters really extended the helping hand on this 22nd of October when we organized this mega donation. And we are also committed that this Diwali, we will take this as a mark that we will, as much as we celebrate Diwali, one of the greatest festival of Hindu tradition, we also take this as an opportunity to extend our helping hand to the people, those are in need. So we will be humble, we will be careful that we will ensure that each and every celebration would extend to the people, those are in need. And definitely I wish that we all celebrate together. And the prayer which we discussed and talk in the beginning, that the community expect that it has to be recognized and recognized in the form of a national holiday. So we all pray to our leadership, whatever way possible, we will get this as a recognition also on this special day of Diwali.
Chair, my director is making fun of me here that I don't have sweets to celebrate Diwali with you. I'm disappointed, Chair.
No. This is, yes, definitely, he rightly said that this is the festival where we extend sweets, we extend gift and greetings and good wishes. So lots of good wishes. I know we are virtually talking to each other, and from bottom of my heart, from entire Hindu community, I wish to extend my greetings to you, to all the viewership, everyone who is there in our country, Kenya, all Kenyans. So that the sweet is my love and my community greetings, which I'm sure that this will be in different ways. I'll try to extend that the entire community really wish that we all celebrate Diwali and years to in our nation, great nation, Kenya.
Absolutely. All right, Chair, when you look back in the last year, now that we are starting, the Hindu community starting a new year, what would you reflect back in the past year that so far you can say that the leaps and the hits and misses as a community?
As I mentioned that this has definitely been treated next day of Diwali as a new year in the Hindu tradition, where we start our businesses and we put all the prayers and everything to do the best in coming years. But at the same time, good practices have been adopted, whatever is good for our people, our surrounding. So we all take this as a responsibility that let's get together, let's try our best to see how we can work and we can stay together and we remain on the path of health, wealth and prosperity. And this is an important message also on this our new year, which is immediately next day, which this time we are celebrating on Wednesday, where we always say Nutan Varsh Abhinandan. So we are welcoming New Year, and the New Year is actually demarking many good practices, many means we have to fight within our whole evil, which we are taking this that next year we will have to be better than what we were there in the last year. And yes, this is the time when we have to stay together, remain together and work towards best for our great country, Kenya.
All right, Chair, Kenya is actually we are currently in a new dispensation of governance, and as a chair of the National Hindu Council of Kenya, I believe you also belong to the interfaith-based organizations in Kenya. Based on what you have right now, the two, the government is now forming, the cabinet is forming, the president is getting ready to, down to work. What would you advise Kenyans now that we are just from an election and we are in a new dispensation of governance altogether?
Very important point, because as I also mentioned that we are all happy that we are on the path of progress, and really we have to take, each one of us to take the responsibility. We might be engineer, we might be doctor, we might be business guys, we might be trading guys, whoever we are, whatever role we are taking. But if we take this as a mission that let's get together with our government, let's get together and work on one mission, that how we can find the best for our country. I think this is how we can achieve the best. Because individually we are a drop, but together we are ocean. So let's form this Kenya ocean to make a big marking that yes, we are progressing all together, and our new leadership is taking the direction where we are all finding our responsibility to contribute in the growth of our country. So, and I all wish to take this responsibility also on this great day of Diwali, that we all have to participate and contribute in the mission what our government is taking, so that we all win as one, and we all participate in best possible way in the growth of our country.
Absolutely. And just to mention, it's marked on different dates every year. Is that because of the rotation of the calendar, or there is a tradition to that?
Absolutely, what you rightly said, that there are different calendars, and as an Hindu community also follow a Hindu calendar, which is absolutely scientific, which works on the rotation of various planets. So on the basis of that, the dates really change, but it really follows in a very right and very correct way, because the movement of the planet is actually driving each of our life. So we have a very strong belief that we have to respect our galaxy and our environment also, that to how we can take the best route for the path of progress.
All right, and perhaps for the sake of Kenyans and for general knowledge, it's not marked in Kenya alone. It's also marked in the Asian countries, in Malaysia, in India, where it is largely celebrated. As an individual, what does this really mean to you?
Okay, since the Hindu community is one of the out of top communities as far as number is concerned all over the world. Yes. In many countries, Hindu people are contributing for the respective country where they are staying. So not only community together, but with the local people, with the government, with the brothers and sisters those are around. We all celebrate together, because this is a festival of light. This is a festival of togetherness. So you rightly said, in many countries all over the world, we celebrate Diwali. In Kenya also, for last few years, we are planning to organize Diwali in a national way. That's how I'm requesting that it has to be considered as we progress, that how Diwali has to be considered, because we are one of the integral part of this great nation. This celebration gives a lot of positivity all around, and yes, being a part of this great country, we have to feel and we have to work on the progress, and that is how we always feel like that even if it is universe, and universe has given us a direction, that when we are there, we are together, let's have all together in the form of celebration and maybe growth for each other.
Absolutely. Chair, before I let you go, Kenya and India over the years have enjoyed a very cordial relationship in terms of labor, in terms of service delivery, in terms of health, in terms of even having expertise from both countries, exchange programs. How would you, as a chair of the Hindu Council of Kenya, what does it really mean to you? And how would these two countries enlarge and even better strengthen the relationship?
Very importantly, we have to be cordial with all over the world. Yes, as an Hindu community originated from India and the countries around that. So we always feel like that when we say our pilgrims, when we say our other people, those are following the same tradition, culture, we know that we have to take the highest respect of our country, Kenya, to each and every country where the Hindu community is there. And we have to take best engagement, because when you speak, when you have the culture which gives a confidence and togetherness, let's market our country that yes, Kenya is a great country where people are so good, they are all getting together, and here we can participate and contribute for the growth of this country, but at the same time ensuring that all the world, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the tag mark where we say that world is a one family. So let's unite, let's work together to growth of means individual, and ensure that our country and our world is also getting a best place for a human being to live.
Absolutely. All right, Chair, as we come to a close, I would like to ask you, do we expect streets to be closed today? Celebration which usually happens along the streets. What is it all about? And are we ready to expect it today to view it and to witness?
You will see a lot of light, lot of celebration everywhere in the country, because we are all celebrating all over the country. Yes, as I mentioned many a times earlier also, as a Hindu community, we request, we pray that this would be considered as a national day, and it is actually to ensure that community also feel like that great recognition. And I'm sure that one of the day our country and our leadership will accept our prayer that Hindu community has been recognized as an integral part of this great country. And our major festival, Diwali is the most major festival which we as a Hindu community celebrate all over, would be marked as a national holiday.
Absolutely. Chair, as a national chair, could you please in 30 seconds talk to the Hindu faithful who are marking Diwali today? Just talk to them directly as their chair in 30 seconds, kindly.
Yes. Thank you so very much. I wish to extend my heartiest greetings, wishes to everyone on this great day of Diwali, that to your health, happiness and prosperity would be working all hand in hand. And please do your best to make this beautiful and great country, Kenya, to be on the highest level. And our brothers and sisters, those are expecting, those are in need, has to be served. Like in today's time when we see famine, relief is most important, and we are working hand in hand to ensure those who are in drought, those who are suffering, has to be getting a best situation, rather to correct the situation in the best possible way. We on this Diwali see that our everyone who is around us has to celebrate together, not only with the light, with the crackers, with the fruit, this sweets and other things, but at the same time they all feel like they are happy, and the happiness and the smile to extend is the best way possible to celebrate this Diwali. So let's all get together, let's all celebrate Diwali, and we all pray that everyone has a good life, and this tough situation go away as best as possible, and we contribute in our efforts to extend smile to our brothers and sisters.
Engineer Chairman Kamal Gupta, who is the chairman of the Hindu Council of Kenya, thank you so much. And they say namaste, right?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste
all right.
to all, and please enjoy and celebrate Diwali. And
right.
You are most welcome wherever you can find the closest
I will
place
look for you. After the show, I will look for you, literally. I will look for you. I must celebrate with you today.
Sure.
All right, all the best.
Thank you so very much.
Asante sana. Asante sana. All right.
Asante.
That has been Engineer Kamal Gupta, who is the national chair of the Hindu Council of Kenya, talking to us matters Diwali and all you need to know. Now you know why it's not a national holiday. Go to work. All right, let's take a break. Ion Politics is up next.
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
His Highness only keeps her around because she holds her ladyship's eyes. Eyes? Lady Suzanne stole her current eyes from Ali's mother.
His love for Ali's mother must have been profound. If my guess is correct, Suzanne must have been involved in what happened to his mother.
If I told you he was really returning, would you believe it?
You aren't messing with me, are you?
Betsy, this time I'm absolutely certain.
She's in a cell.
How dare you?
Sasa ni saa ngapi?
Sina saa.
Woi! Unakaa kama vampire. Si unajua mkaka ako na mechanical problems.
Wewe usiingize huko ndani. Karibu nipate nini? Cesarean stroke kwa roho.
No man's land. From England's point of view, exactly what they needed. Here's Milner. Defoe looking for room. Lampard! Did it go in? No, say the officials. Over the line or not? Yes, most definitely. It's well over. England are denied an equaliser.
Welcome back. Now, let's talk about matters politics now. Today being a Monday, 24th of October, we want to focus more on what happened over the weekend. The president was in Ukambani, matters insecurity in that particular region, and of course right now it's also extending to some parts of Meru, Tigania, and etc. And of course what you should expect in the political arena in this particular week and the coming weeks, so to speak. And in studio I have got two gentlemen, great men indeed. Let me start with Dr. Joseph Rotich, who is an economist, but with a lot of bias on politics.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
They say Yabune?
Jamage missing.
Kabisa.
Thank you so much.
And I have got Kevin Katisi here, who is a senior counsel and, of course, Speaker of the Kitui County Assembly. Wakili, karibu.
Asante sana Victor, and good morning to all Kenyans, and allow me to say happy Diwali to all our Indian brothers and sisters. And I wonder why Diwali has never been an holiday in Kenya. We were expecting to get rest.
Just told us why
yes,
it's not.
But we understand.
Kenya many Kenyans actually pushed the government to declare a national holiday.
Yes.
We love holidays.
We love holidays.
Right?
Today would have been somewhere relaxing with our families.
Fireworks and holiday on a Monday.
Yes.
I would imagine what Dr. would be doing in the village right now.
I would love to be there. In fact, but I want to say,
yes.
I want to share the same happy day, happy Diwali with our Hindu brothers wherever they are.
Right.
In fact, I'm the product of the Indian education. I school in India.
Yes.
All these holidays, Diwali and the rest, Indians have a lot of holidays. They have a lot. In Kenya, we've been talking about having a lot of holidays, but India has a lot of them.
Yes.
So in this case, I want to say we are happy to join the Indian brothers wherever they are in this very special day of Diwali, the celebration of lights, and we are with you. Thank you so much.
All right. So let me start with you, Wakili. Last night when we talked, you are on your way from Kitui, I suppose.
Yes.
Just a quick update on the security issue there between Tana River and part of Eastern, and now it's even extending to the other side of Meru, Embu, Tigania. How is the situation security-wise? Last time we spoke last week on Monday, it was not that good. What about today?
Today I can say it is better, but not fully resolved.
Right.
And I'm sure one of the main reasons why the president came to worship in Kitui was so that he can address that particular issue while he is there.
Yeah.
And he did address it well. And he said that the security forces have been well facilitated to contain the situation, because it was very bad, Victor, because people were being killed.
Yeah.
And even now it almost became like a war and a conflict between the Kamba community and the Somali community. And it should never be that way, because we have coexisted with the Kambas and Somalis for a very long time. But there's a time I remember in the 1992, 93, 94, when we were young, I remember it was bad. And actually, the GSU camps had to be put there, and the AP camps had to be put there. Even at some point, the military had to intervene. So I think before this situation reaches there, I think it is high time that the government takes a lead role in ensuring that the situation is contained. And us as the county government of Kitui, we even went ahead to even have a motion before the House to debate on how we should handle this situation. And the governor promised to, even yesterday, he spoke that he will make sure that in every village along the border between Tana River County and Kitui County, we will construct police stations. And the president responded by saying that after we construct the police stations, he will equip those stations with police officers. And we wonder whether, you see, security is a national government initiative. Us as a county government, we're only chipping in so that now, because now our people are suffering. And I think it is high time that the president assures every Kenyan that they are safe wherever they are, because the Somali community who are bringing their camels to Kitui are also citizens of Kenya. But then the problem is, are they taking these camels to the right place? Because there's conflict.
That is where the conflict is all about.
Yes. And I think part of the conflict is because there is what we call the South Kitui Game Reserve, where they normally take their camels, and now nobody can say these are our land, because a game reserve is a national property. So now when they are there, they have to be taken to look for water. So now while they are going to look for water, and there's a river called the Drought River. That is now where all the conflict arises, because of course camels don't run like lions or leopards. They just go at a slow pace. So now along the way now, from the game reserve to where now they go to water them,
they leave a trail of destruction.
Exactly. So I think all we need as a Kamba community is a long-lasting solution. And the Kamba people are very very peaceful people.
Yeah.
But you know, of course, when you are provoked to the limit, you have to take action. So I think as we move forward, and the president did assure us yesterday that he will ensure that there is security, and we even said as a county government, we asked the national government to help us make sure that there is a cut line between the two counties, because you know that issue is not only in Mudha, in Kitui South, but it cuts across all the wards which neighbor Tana River and Meru, because you know Kitui County, and many people don't know, we don't border Garissa County at any point. We only border Tana River, then Meru.
Yes.
Yeah. So along the boundary between Tana River and Kitui, that is where all the conflict is. And of course, I've seen many politicians trying to politicize this issue. I think this is an issue which should not be politicized.
Yeah.
It is high time that we actually differentiate politics and real issues, because these are real issue. People are dying, and instead of now us focusing on how to have a long-lasting solutions, some people are busy there politicizing it. I can assure you, even though it is a national government issue, us as the county government of Kitui, and the governor did say that we are going to have a meeting with the governor of Tana River, Godana, because you see, once the two governors sit down and the two counties sit down, we can also engage the national government and tell them these are our people and these are the long-lasting solutions which we want to propose. Because I believe that will be the only way we can help each other. Because no, Victor, some people, some of those Somali herders, they have bought land from the Kamba community legitimately, and they say we bought this land and we can graze here. Others are just encroaching the land of the Kamba people and grazing their camels. I've even heard that some of the camels belong to some Kamba people. So you see, now we should avoid making this issue become like an ethnic issue. It should be, we should deal with those individuals, not out there crucifying the one community against the other. Exactly. So I think this issue, the way I heard the governor and the president say yesterday, I believe in the shortest time possible, it will be resolved.
Absolutely. Dr. I had to give him time because he's a speaker, he's one of the leaders from that region, and he is a native from that region, so he understands that particular issue perfectly. But the situation is, it's becoming quite open right now because of the drought. And we cannot blame it so much on the drought, but animal-human conflict, herders crossing from one area to the next, has been a big problem over the years.
I think, although the way I look at it is not about the conflict between the Kambas and the Somalis. I'm looking at it as a conflict of the areas of the grazing areas and then the water catchment areas. And I think the permanent solution, although the government must look into how to secure a better place, or rather take water to the nearby areas whereby the Somalis are actually grazing their camels. Because it is a crisis. It is actually between death and life. The Somalis have to take their camels out of their own areas because they already have no water, they already have no pastures. And in this case, I don't see that as a conflict between the Kambas and the Somalis themselves. I think the issue alone must be solved amicably with the understanding that this country is now facing a very serious drought. It is facing a serious drought which, if this animal dies, the people themselves will follow. The people, the camels themselves. So for the Somalis to safeguard the animals, they are also safeguarding their own lives. And we must understand in that perspective. We should not criminalize the whole thing to look like it is the Somalis are actually encroaching into the Kamba areas. And I think away from politics or law, this is a catastrophic kind of phenomenon that Kenyans must handle it as a serious issue that is facing the Somali people. Because I don't think they are joyriders. The Somalis are not joyriders. They are not riding their camels into the Kamba land with the intentions of destroying their crops or destroying their land. They are basically looking for the pastures. They are basically looking for water, which must be seen as that. And the moment we see that way, the government of Kenya should come up and make sure that water is made available to the Somali people in their own area. So the issue of building up a barrier, the issue of actually, fencing up the Kambas away from their own natural intermingling with the Somali people may not be a solution. Because these are people whom they have actually coexist. They have been living together. In fact, I believe they are also sharing a lot of common things together as neighbors.
You said that some of them
and in this case, I want to, I'm foreseeing a situation or law whereby I think the right thinking approach should be made possible so that these people can coexist the way they have been, but while the Somali people get access to water catchment areas. Because the basic problem is not about the conflict, it's not about the hostility between the two groups, it's about the pasture and water.
Absolutely. Kevin, let me just ask you this question. You know, the president said that the police unit has been well financed, so that should be in their, their mandate to make sure that that is done. But ideally, matter security should be a national government, wing. Why do you think the president just decided now to fund the police wing and say, this is now not in my office, the IG take charge? Sometimes the president's call is quite important in such matters, I would suppose.
Yeah, that's true, but let's understand that the police service is supposed to be actually independent from the executive. The president should only be partnering with them, because they are supposed to be very, very independent as they do their job. So long as they are well facilitated, then they should do their job. I think everybody must do his or her job, but I think overall, the president is responsible, overall. Even though now the job has been delegated to the police force, but overall the president is delegated. But, I can partly disagree with the Daktari by saying that even though we want to look for long-term solutions, we also have to look for short-term solutions. Because as we speak, Daktari, and that's where I come from, and I visited that area, Victor, to be honest, what I saw was not a very good scene. A
first-hand experience? What was down there?
Because to be honest, there is a looming war. There's a looming big crisis actually in that area, because the Somali people have actually settled there, because they've even built their manyatas there, they have settled there, the campus are there, and all of them are speaking the language which you can't understand. They're saying, we are also Kenyans, we belong here. The campus are saying, this is our land, we have been forced away. So the kind of situation there is not something to take
something has to
lightly.
Be done pretty
something
fast.
has to be done very, very fast. To be honest, if you have encroached into somebody's land, and then you are saying you must be there because you are a Kenyan, then you see now this other person may also take action. And you see some of the things being done to the Kamba community, they are inhumane. And even some of the things being done to the Somali community by the campus, they are inhumane. Imagine, I'm sure that you saw a photo of a camel which was it is very bad.
There's a lady who was killed.
And the lady was killed. And actually there was a man who was dragged from his house and killed just outside his house. Sometimes these friends, the bandits, let me call them that way, because I'm avoiding calling the community name. They go to a house, they even rape a lady in front of the husband. I mean, Victor, it is very sad.
And I think these are happening right now.
These are happening right now. They happen right now. Because I'm telling you, it is not as Kenyans see in the media.
What is the local leadership doing, meanwhile, before long-term measure is taken?
We have been trying, and we have been on the ground, Victor.
Right.
We are talking to these people, asking them to maintain peace and harmony. Because as much as we know, the Somali people are also Kenyans.
Yes.
And some of them, as I've told you, Victor, they have even bought land there. They have said, me, I came here, and I told them I want to buy land, and I bought. Which is because they are a Kenyan, and a Kenyan can settle anywhere. But you see now, we also need to try and ensure that, and the way Dr. was saying, we need to have a long-term solution. Because you see, these Somali others come to Kitui in search of water, to be honest.
Basically, that is the primary reason.
And the one thing I can ask our president,
yes,
because he's a president who loves his people and he would like to see a long-lasting solution in Kenya. I would ask him, because yesterday he said that he's planning to have several dams in Kenya, actually thousands and thousands of dams. Where can he ensure that we have several dams in that part of Tana River, and also Kitui? Because you see, if these Somali others have enough water, then they will never go out there encroaching other people's property in search of water. And also, you see, they also need pasture. And you know, when we have dams, and especially those we call sand dams, around those sand dams, I'm sure the environment is very good, and there could be good pasture, because we need to look for long-lasting solution. And as local leaders, we actually engage, because these Somali people, they also have their elders, and we engage them, we talk, we tell them, let us not engage in war, let us just talk, we are all Kenyans, and that is ongoing right now as we speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, we engage on a daily basis, and we talk, because you see, if we say that we are going to fight, we will fight until when? And there will be casualties. So we said as a county government, even though it is not our mandate, imagine to an extent where a county government, Daktari, is also taking responsibility. We are saying we are going to use our money, which we are meant to do county development projects, to actually even construct classrooms. Yeah. I mean police stations. We were supposed to use this money to construct classrooms, but now we are using this money to construct police stations.
Exactly.
And if the president says there is enough money for the police force, why can this money not be used in constructing those police stations? Because I think it is item that the government knows that, the national government knows that security is their primary responsibility. And we are saying, even if it means having a military camp there,
yes,
let it be there. Because as the people of Kitui, I can tell you, Victor, it will reach a point where we shall say enough is enough.
Yeah.
Because our people can't be killed when we are looking at, when we are just staring here and pleading for help.
And we just hope
and
it doesn't,
no help is coming.
It doesn't have to get. And now the president was
there.
there.
Gave the regional commissioner an order
to make sure that is taken care of. Yes.
And me, I'm saying as a leader from Kitui County, if they don't do that,
okay,
of course, as leaders, we can't wait and see our people being killed.
All right.
But I'm sure it will not reach that level.
Right.
I'm sure the regional commissioner, the police commandant who is there, and he was even given an order and told, do what is necessary to make sure that there is peace in this area.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I want us to get now into the real action, because we had to start that with that one, because matter security is a national issue. And being that the speaker comes from that particular area, something that we talked about last Monday, so we had to get an update on that. So let's take a break and we come back. The president was in Ukambani yesterday, and he said that he approached Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to come and work with him, and Kalonzo Musyoka said no. We'll discuss that with Dr. Rotich and the Speaker Kevin Katisia when we come back shortly after this.
The world's biggest sporting event is here with us. The FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. KBC Television will air live 28 selected matches, while radio will beam live all the 64 matches. We would like to bring to the attention of the public that KBC is the only station that has exclusive 2022 FIFA World Cup free-to-air FTA broadcast rights for both TV and radio in the Kenya territory, and no other media outlet. Therefore, catch all the FIFA World Cup action live and exclusive on KBC TV and radio. KBC is indeed your true sports partner.
Unahema vipi baada ngoma moja MC? Baada ngoma moja tu ha? Yela na Silver live and direct ndani ya KBC Shoni Grapevine. Keep it locked. Kong.
Enter body, all the girl them go shake their body.
Nasikia walevi huota na bia, lakini kuna siri ndawaibia leo.
Michael Adebayo Olanyika, being his true name, is known for his mega hits like Girlfriend, Bounce, Dior, and Snapchat.
Bad man drift to the car, spot cars parked on the right spot. Bad man slick and you know, bad man looking good in the
Influencer of the Year award goes to Beryl Itimbi.
The winners are the TMI podcast.
I never used to believe in love.
His Highness only keeps her around because she holds her ladyship's eyes.
Eyes?
Lady Suzanne stole her current eyes from Ali's mother.
His love for Ali's mother must have been profound. If my guess is correct, Suzanne must have been involved in what happened to his mother.
If I told you he was really returning, would you believe it?
You aren't messing with me, are you?
Betsy, this time I'm absolutely certain.
She's in a cell.
How dare you?
Welcome back. It's now 13 minutes past 8 a.m. We've just started. Are you ready for this? All right. So the president was in Ukambani yesterday for a church service and a Thanksgiving ceremony at the eastern part of Kenya. And let's take a look at what he said yesterday concerning his approach to Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
President William Ruto attended a Thanksgiving service at AIC Kitui Township, where he reached out to all Kenyans to work with the government for the sake of development.
Mumeniambia kuhusu maneno ya ndugu yangu Stephen. Stephen ni ndugu yangu mkubwa, na akiwa tayari kufanya kazi na mimi niko tayari kufanya kazi na yeye. Mimi mwenyewe nimemtafuta huyo Stephen, nimeketi chini na yeye, nikamwambia ndio hii serikali tuende pamoja. Akaniambia kwanza anataka kujaribu ya upinzani. So wacha jaribu kidogo, alafu tutaona vile. So there is no problem. Hata hii ya upinzani ni kazi pia.
So hata hiyo upinzani pia ni kazi. Let me start with you, Speaker. You were at that function. And is that the truth on the ground?
Which truth, Victor? Or what the president said?
Yes.
Yes, Victor, as the Speaker of the County Assembly of Kitui, I'm definitely a state officer, and I had the duty to welcome the president to Kitui County. And we were there with my governor, Dr. Julius Makau Malombe, and other leaders from Kitui County and from Lower Eastern, and even from the entire country. We were there to welcome our president because it is not easy for a president to visit a particular area. So we were there to welcome him. And yes, it was supposed to be a Thanksgiving service, but we saw politics playing as usual.
Yes.
Because these are political leaders and they must do a little bit of politicking. And yes, I heard what the president said.
Okay.
Yes.
Before you continue, that's also captured on the front page of the Daily Nation, which says, here it is. Kalonzo refused job offer, says Ruto. Kalonzo refused job offer, says Kalonzo. The president continues to say that President William Ruto yesterday said that he had made deliberate efforts to engage Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, including offering him a job in his government, which he flatly declined. That story continues on page 5 of the Daily Nation. All right. I don't know whether to ask you, because you might say that you're not the spokesperson of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, but is this the true situation that Kalonzo was offered a job but he flatly refused?
Actually, Victor, you have just read my mind. That I would have told you that I'm not Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka's spokesperson. Yeah, and I'm sure he himself can speak on his own behalf, because we can't say what the president said is a truth or a lie, because it was a discussion between him, if it was there anyway,
yes,
between him and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. So we don't know whether it is the truth, but that is what we heard the president say. Perhaps maybe we should wait and hear what Honorable Kalonzo will say, because the president, of course, and we saw he was provoked to comment on that by the governor of Machakos when she said that she had been sent by Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka to just welcome the president to Kitui, and to tell him that he can come to Kitui anytime, and of course he is willing to work with him. So we don't know whether that was the position, whether she was sent or not, because I wondered why being sent when a governor for Kitui is there. So we don't know. We don't know about anything unless now we hear that from the former vice president himself.
Yes.
But one thing I can say is that when that debate was being conducted by the politicians, and especially now the deputy president, I saw a lot of disrespect to the former vice president by the deputy president, and I have a lot of humility to the deputy president, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, but how he went about it, I think the people of Ukambani at large were not generally happy. Because you see, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is a senior politician. Many leaders, including myself, we have gone through his hands. He has trained us to be where we are now. And he is a senior and seasoned politician. He knows what he is doing. Believe you me, Victor.
Yes.
He knows what he is doing. And you see, if he was offered a job, if he was a greedy person, he would have quickly taken the job.
Yeah.
Or else maybe people are expecting him to do what the former Prime Minister did in 2018 by quickly going for a handshake. Perhaps that is not Kalonzo Musyoka's style. Yeah? And you know, he has been in this game for a very long time. If he says, let me do this, he has a plan. Because Victor, to be honest, and we must be very honest, we know very well the president would like to serve another term. And if now, even now Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka joins the president, what will happen to him? Politically, he is done. So I think I agree with my party leader, because he's my party leader, and I respect and love him very much. And I'm sure whatever he's doing for the best interest of us as a community, and also the best interest of Kenyans. Because if we have no vibrant and good opposition, then how will the government do proper service to the Kenyans? Because that, and even you heard the president say, even opposition is a job. And actually, I think it's high time that the Constitution acknowledges the opposition side of the government.
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. What do you think? When this was happening, Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable, was in Kisumu yesterday. And someone would argue that the president being in Kitui, his home turf, and actually he said that the president was going to where he was baptized. And he was away. Kalonzo Musyoka, the Honorable, by all means, is a figure in Ukambani region, and he was missing in action. He was in Kisumu, while the president was in his compound, so to speak, not his home turf.
I think to be very candid, although Kalonzo Musyoka, His Excellency, was in Homa Bay during the burial of one of the
Honorable Kaluma's father.
Kaluma's father.
Yes.
And then after the burial, they proceeded to Kisumu for a prayer. And even he said that before they ended up in Deliverance Church in Kisumu, they were looking for a place where to worship. So in this case, even during his actually off remarks, he said that he's aware that His Excellency the President is in Kitui, and he's in the church where he was baptized. That was back 1969. And he was saying he's welcome there. He's welcome. That is his remark. He is welcome there. And going by the issue of refusing the job, although, you know, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is a seasoned politician. And he was one of those who were eyeing the position of the presidency to contest in the last election.
Yes.
And in my own thinking, although I think Kalonzo Musyoka is looking at 2027 as you want to make a step in politics of a presidential race. And here is a situation, although whereby his relationship with Right Honorable Raila Odinga is providing him a very strong support from not only the Luo Nyanza, but from those people who supported Raila Odinga in the last election. So he's inheriting, he's eyeing to inherit a very strong and a very powerful constituency. Constituency, I mean, in this sense, the support that Right Honorable Raila Odinga had. In the last discussion that we had, although we were looking people who they were perceived to be trying to topple Right Honorable Raila Odinga from his political limelight. We talk of Obado, we talk of Kidero, we talk of all those. And we were of the opinion that Raila's person or candidate will not necessarily come from that area, but whoever Raila will bless in future, he will actually carry that support, that huge support that Raila has been having. So in this case, I think Kalonzo Musyoka is strategically placing himself to inherit Right Honorable Raila Odinga come the 2027 election, if we will not be together. Because we are not saying that Raila is so old that he cannot be there in 2027. He can still be there. But he knows very sure that this is the only way he can ever fight for the presidency of this country. Because if today, Kalonzo say, yes, I'm joining His Excellency President Ruto, his political future is already is done. Just because come 2027, His Excellency President Ruto will be vying for the second term in office. And at that age, Kalonzo Musyoka will be, how old is, will he be by that time? He cannot wait for Ruto to finish his term so that he can contest, but he has to fight with him. And that is why that chance that will allow, enable Immaculate to fight during the 2027 election is by sticking to Right Honorable Raila Odinga, because he's already having a strong face, a political base. So in that case, I'm not foreseeing in the future having Kalonzo joining Ruto. Number two, that's what we need to know, is that as it is now, since we have, he has a lot of openness to play the Kenyan politics by being in opposition. He will build himself by being in opposition. He cannot come out in the open the way he's coming open now if he joins Ruto today. If he joins Ruto today, he will be done. And in that case, I'm not actually foreseeing Kalonzo, because he has been that and that way. He has been in and out. He has discussed, as the president explained yesterday, that he has had a discussion with him. And now I'm seeing that he has gone to the other side. And one thing that I'm almost supporting my brother here about the talk that normally goes around, referring Right Honorable Raila as Kusimia and all this and that, and then maybe Kenya Kwanza ni Kenya Kwisha. I think this kind of rhetoric language should stop if we have to build this country together. Because any disrespect of any particular leader, you are disrespecting the followers of that particular person. That we need to have in our mind. So we need to embrace that kind of togetherness, and that the language that can bring people together. So hii lugha ambayo tulikuwa tukitumia wakati wa siasa lazima tuiache.
Come to an end. All right. There is that bit you said that the Deputy President talked about. Perhaps, Director, you have that clip right now. If it's ready, press play.
Residents of Kitui, the government is enhancing security to avert clashes between farmers and pastoralists from neighboring counties.
Pia Mheshimiwa Rais, ningetaka kukujulisha ya kwamba tumefanya mipango kabambe, mambo ya usalama kwa zile shida zimekuwa hapa inaangaliwa vizuri na maofisa wako kwa ground, na kazi inaendelea, na ni matumaini yetu ya kwamba kile kisa kilitokea hatutakuwa na marudio ya hiyo maneno.
All right. That in reference to what you talked about, the issue of insecurity, which I'll come back to later on. But what Dr. has talked about, that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka's plan right now is 2027. We are hardly 2 months into the election, and 2027 is already taking shape, and every politician is now scheming for 2027. Do you really think this is a situation Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is planning?
I don't think, but that is the reality.
That is the reality.
He even said it himself.
Yes.
When we were campaigning, and he said that one thing he will do is that he will begin campaigns as early as possible. And yes, he's justified to do his campaigns and plan for 2027, because I'm sure it will not be easy to defeat the sitting president. Perhaps I think my party leader will make history and win the presidency in 2027. So he has to plan, and I think it is good that he gets that time to plan adequately. Whether Raila supports him or not, he needs to plan and win. Because even our president now, Dr. William Ruto, he was not supported by the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
But because he planned early, he's the president now. So I fully support that. And Victor, allow me to say that, of course, the clip has not been played on when the deputy president was referring and talking about Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, because I was there. Perhaps I can tell you. Because he said that he does not understand Kalonzo Musyoka. He has no direction. Sometimes he's saying this, other times he's saying that. And he said they have tried to engage him, but they don't understand him. It is not upon them to understand him. Perhaps that is a good political strategy.
Yeah.
Let not your enemies understand you. But you see how that message was put to the Kamba people. And as you have said, Victor, that was Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka's home. And I was seated there. If I could be given a chance to respond, I would have not responded lightly, because it is not good to disrespect your leader in your presence openly. And that's why I said with a lot of respect and humility to the Deputy President. I think he should respect our leaders.
Yes.
Whether they are in government, yes, we know Kenya Kwanza is in government. We know that and we respect that. But also, let them know that he is the Deputy President for all Kenyans. And all Kenyans must be respected, whether they're in government or not. And I think that is what we are disagreeing with him. Yeah. The issue of approaching Honorable Kalonzo and offering him a job, you see, and as Dr. has said, my party leader is a seasoned politician. And he will not just make a decision without thinking about it. Yeah? So I think what is needed here is for the government to respect the opposition, because clearly, Victor, by approaching opposition leaders, clearly the government, the president and his deputy wants to kill the opposition. One day they are saying we want to have a vibrant opposition. Yes. The next day they are saying they approached them. What are they telling us? They are clearly saying that they are not being truthful. Yeah, let the government support the opposition. Yes. Because it will be very sad, Victor, if we see now the government victimizing the opposition leaders. You saw what happened in 2018 before handshake, Victor. Even security officers assigned to these opposition leaders were taken away.
Okay, but let me ask you, what is this so interesting thing about Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka? This happened even during last election, when the president was there. He campaigned, we call on Kalonzo Musyoka to come on board, and that still continued until yesterday. What is this something that people do not know about Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka?
Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has been my boss, Victor. I was his personal assistant, and I can tell you, he's a very, very smart politician. And he never makes a decision without thinking about it. And since the president wants to capture, for lack of a better word, the whole of Lower Eastern, and he knows very well, yes, for him, even if he appoints 20 or all the 22 cabinet secretaries from Ukambani, yes, believe you me, Ukambani has its owner. And people of Ukambani will just keep quiet, they will listen to you, and he knows he has to approach Ukambani using the right person. And again, Victor, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is not only a Kamba leader. Yes. He's a national and international leader. Right. He can go any part of this country and people will say, these are good leaders. Victor, good leaders in this country are very rare. Yeah. Yeah, they are very rare. And he's honest. If he tells you he'll do this, he will do it. And of course, the president wants to look for honest people. And remember what Raila said when he was in Kibera, and of course people are saying he should apologize to the Kamba. He said Kamba people are very faithful. Yeah, the president knows. It was in good faith. Yeah. The president knows if he gets the
loyalty level is on another level.
Yes, exactly. He knows very well if he gets the loyalty of the Kamba people through, of course, their leader, then he will be very comfortable wherever he is. Because we are always very loyal. Okay,
allow me to be loyal to my director and take a break. Dr. When I come back, I still want us to go more deeper into that discussion, because he's saying that he knows very well that if opposition is weakened, more so the Ukambani region, then it's a done deal for Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka come 2027. Let's talk more about that when we come back after this press with Dr. Rotich and Kevin Katisia. Sure.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua assured residents of Kitui
Sasa ni saa ngapi?
Sina saa.
Woi. Unakaa kama fambaya. Si unajua mkaka ako na mechanical problems.
Wewe usiingize huko ndani. Karibu nipate nini? Cesarean stroke baro.
Bona hema vipi baada ngoma moja MC baada ngoma moja tu yela na Silver live and direct ndani ya KBC Shoni Grapevine. Keep it locked. Kong
Enter body, all the girl them go shake their body.
Nasikia walevi huotana bia, lakini kuna siri ndawaibia leo.
Michael Adebayo Olanyika, being his true name, is known for his mega hits like Girlfriend, Bounce, Dior, and Snapchat.
Bad man drift to the car parked on the right spot. Bad man slick and you know, bad man looking good in the
Influencer of the Year award goes to Beryl Itimbi.
The winners are the TMI podcast.
I never used to believe in love. I just wanna smoke, drink, and love my girl to some reggae.
Wagwan Rasta, kumbuka kila Monday ni Iris serving you nothing but the best in reggae music.
Aisha ni yangu, washugulika na yako.
And on Tuesday, it's all about Kenyan music, bringing you the best from the 2-5 flow.
Brand new wheel, just hopped in.
And of course, to all you hip-hop heads, we've got you covered each and every Wednesday. Not forgetting, we've got some R&B on the side.
Let me a jiggle, let me see the woman that is with me.
Now, every Thursday, tunavuka border across Africa to bring you nothing but the best for Afro Thursday.
Ready for burn up warning, someone's playing.
And on Friday, we do it live with me, Emily Mbai.
And me, DJ Kojax, on the ones and twos.
Not forgetting DJ_Lizadiva Pale Pia. Make sure you get interactive from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Hashtag KBC Club 1.
Reaching the legal limits. That's a good ball as well. Oh, the header! Oh my word! Van Persie with an absolute stunner. Celebrates with his coach. The Dutch have their equal.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. Talking matters politics, whatever happened yesterday, the president said that he offered Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka a job, but he said no. He is okay wherever he is at the opposition. But politically speaking, and the way Wakili has said, that if Kalonzo Musyoka was to join President Ruto's government, then that would definitely kill his power and veracity, politically speaking. Daktari, what do you think?
I think, there are two things that we must look at during the yesterday's meeting of His Excellency the President during the prayer day. I think what we need to look at, His Excellency the President is on a charm mission to bring on board all those who are perceived to be opposition to join the government. Kalonzo is a very key person in Ukambani politics.
Yes.
He's a seasoned politician.
And actually all the legislators in Ukambani are in Wiper, if I got it right.
Yes.
Right? All the governors.
Yes.
You see, Kalonzo combines a lot of histories He was in the government of His Excellency the President Moi, the late Moi. He was there in the President of His Excellency the Kibaki. And he was also present during the Kenyatta's regime. So he's a seasoned politician who cannot be ignored. And in this case, he commands a lot of support in Ukambani. But one thing that I don't want to escape my mind, Speaker, is that among the Kalenjin nation, we have a lot of respect to the Kamba people.
That is true.
And that really emanated from our history. You know, the 1982 coup, where General Mahmoud and General Mulinge brought back the government of the late President Moi. And these were the most honest people. I mean, the Kamba people are people who can be relied on to deliver in anything that you do. So it is that honesty that is bringing Kambas. And that is why the Ruto is feeling that if the Kamba nation will be part of his government, and it will be more stable come 2027 politics than ever.
Do you think that's a risk that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka can make?
When you look at it, as far as Kalonzo is concerned, I'm just telling you the other side of the government side.
Yes.
And what majority of people are thinking about the Kamba people, and more so a representation of Kalonzo's caliber. So in this case, if they are banking on Kalonzo to deliver the whole of Ukambani come 2027. And of course, as we were saying, it's no longer a secret that the 2027 politics is actually shaping up. And as much as the Kenya Kwanza is eyeing to have everybody on board, don't forget that it is not only for the purpose of development. It's for the purpose of solidifying the campaign ground for the 2027. And in this case, even Kalonzo is very, very aware. And that is why he's not easily hooked. He's not easily taken for a ride. And he cannot, for Kalonzo's caliber, he cannot just accept just a position just because he has been given. This is a person who is eyeing for a political seat at the highest level of this country. And he's looking at the opportunity in the camp of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Because Honorable Raila Odinga was the #2 man, a very strong, a very powerful competitor. And in this case, those who are eyeing to come up for president, those who are eyeing for these presidential positions come 2027, Raila will be the key competitor. So in this case, if Kalonzo today, in my own analysis, if Kalonzo today will say yes to Kenya Kwanza and join the government, his political future will finish the same day. He has to be in the opposition to be able to remain vibrant, to be able to sell himself, to be able to articulate on issues to do with the governance of this country. And by doing so, he's actually entrenching himself with the politics of Kenya. And that is the only way. There is no miracle there or law. This is politics.
and when you look at the structure of Ukambani, so to speak, Honorable Raila Odinga is out of the country for a 10-day trip, and as well as one of the principals, that is Martha Karua, is out of the country. But Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is now holding fort for the two principals who are now away. And if you can look at it, now the talk is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Let's take, hypothesis that Raila Odinga takes a backseat and says, Kalonzo Musyoka now take charge, Martha Karua also take charge. What will be the future of Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua and Raila Odinga individually?
Of course, you have said Raila, if he takes a back seat, so he will be at the back seat.
Right.
But now, the people who will be left at the front seat is either Honorable Kalonzo or Honorable Martha Karua. And we all know, even when Azimio was looking for a running mate, everybody knew that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka was the best running mate to Raila.
Yes.
Actually, even before Raila was announced the presidential candidate for Azimio, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka was the best presidential candidate for Azimio. Believe you me, and I'm very convinced up to now, if Azimio had announced Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka as a presidential candidate, we will be talking of President Kalonzo Musyoka today. And I'm sure even Kenya Kwanza team knew that. They knew that, but of course Raila said there was a remaining bullet which he wanted to use, and we trusted him. And Kalonzo Musyoka himself said that if he will not be the running mate, and we saw what happened. And it's like he prophesied But as faithful as he is, you can see he's stuck with Raila, and they have been together. And one thing, Victor, I will plead with our senior leader, Honorable Raila Odinga. I think it is high time for him now to also give Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka a chance to try his bullet. He has several bullets, and he needs also to fire them. And I'm sure if he's allowed to fire them,
saying that his magazine is still
yes, the magazine is full. So if he's given a chance, I'm sure he will be able to fire at the target. And the President Ruto knows that he is a target.
Yes.
And he will be targeted very well. And one thing I can tell you, Victor,
yes,
the leadership of this country now, as we speak, 2027 is about Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and President William Ruto. And the President knows that very well, Victor.
He's Aaron. In the Bible, we had Moses and Aaron.
And
who's going to deliver people finally?
And I can tell you, Victor, that may be the reality.
Right.
Because, you know, what the President does, he now has a chance. Remember, even you and myself and Dr. here, Kenyans have a lot of expectations from the President. And the President, the team he will choose to assist him in his government, the Deputy President, the Cabinet, the PSCs, they will play a critical role, not only in his development agenda, but also in his political agenda. Because believe you me, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and the Azimio team will not just keep quiet. They will do something. Because Kenya ni yetu sisi wote. And I'm sure they have the right also to demand their space. And another thing, Victor, you see, one thing I will always have in mind is a lot of respect to my party leader. Imagine, Victor, you being offered a senior job in government and you decline. It means you love your people and you respect yourself. This is somebody who respects himself. And if maybe him as a person went to Kenya Kwanza, believe you me, maybe we would not have been given the 2 or 3 cabinet positions, because I think we have 2 now. Maybe we would have been given 1 or none. Because they'll say, already we have Kalonzo, then we are good. But now for them to keep now trying to get our support, maybe we will get more.
Or perhaps maybe Dr. can answer this one. When you look at the administration of the Kenya Kwanza administration, how many leaders do we have from the CSS from Ukambani region, if not Kalonzo Musyoka, so to speak?
I think of course we have Mutua.
Yes.
And then we have another one, I don't remember the names.
Malonza?
Malonza,
yes, 2. Right. And so someone will argue that that's a reward to the Kamba community. And when you had the Deputy President
Victor,
talking about...
It is not a reward, because you even had yourself from the Deputy President saying,
yes,
he even questioned his boss why he gave us 2 cabinet nominees and we did not deliver that much.
Somebody would argue that it was politically coined kind of a statement.
It was not a reward. It was a political move aimed at 2027. Believe you me. And I'm sure if our party leader stays strong on opposition, we may even get more.
Yes.
Because they want to get more support from Okamba, and that is what we want.
I think, what's happening, I think, His Excellency the President, William Ruto's choosing to have Mutua and the rest, I think it was actually in good faith to bring a Kenyan face that he has actually promised Kenyans. That his cabinet will actually comprise of the whole Kenyans, wherever they are. Even in the Luo Nyanza, we have Owalo, we have now Mutua from Ukambani, we have... I mean, this is a national face that His Excellency the President was actually, had promised. But whether there are political minds behind the scene, that will remain to be done. But come 2027, His Excellency the President Ruto will not be a walkover, as some may be thinking, because this is somebody who has been in politics for a long time. He's acquainted with the Kamba politics, and when he was in Ukambani, Speaker, you can attest that Ruto himself was at home, and in that case, we don't overrule whether Kalonzo will join His Excellency the President in his government or not. That does not dissuade the fact that Ruto will still be home in Ukambani. So that, whatever the imagination that the people are thinking about the outcome, I can assure you, although I think Ukambani people will remain, people will be looked for by many. And in this case, you are talking about the 2 leaders, Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka. I'm foreseeing Kalonzo Musyoka being at the upper hand in that hierarchy. Because if we have to go by the reward that these people gave, because you overheard even Rigathi Gachagua, the deputy president, saying that even though you gave us very little votes, we were able to give you this. That also gives you a fact that Azimio had a strong, the Ukambani still remained the stronghold of Azimio. And that is an area that it now remains to be shaken. And that is why all these things are actually, the people are actually jostling to go to Ukambani. But in this case, if they will not win Kalonzo as part of the Kenya Kwanza government, I think they will also try to dismantle the strength of the Azimio in Ukambani. That will be the last resort that these people may actually undertake, because they are already there.
You know what really happens? Let me get your mind on this, Wakili. When you look at how Ukambani is formed, we have got all the leaders are almost 100% Wiper. So somebody would argue that Kalonzo Musyoka delivered, so what people would say delivered to the Azimio basket in terms of votes. But then when you look at the kind of strength that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is gaining right now, the number of press briefings and conferences, we've only seen him and a number of Azimio leaders. We've never seen Raila Odinga addressing the president. It's been a while. We've not seen Martha Karua again, but we've seen Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka on the front line. On the front line, giving press conferences and ultimatums and, pushing the government to do this and that. What he said, that Honorable Raila Odinga will back, but they are going to form a very strong opposition, complete with a kitchen cabinet. When you hear this from Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, perhaps when they walks like a duck, sleep like a duck, sings like a duck, then it's a duck.
Yes, and that is the reality, Victor. Because when there's a beautiful girl and we are the three of us, you have to jump and grab the opportunity and talk to her first. So the beautiful girl here is Kenya. And in Azimio, we know very well that even Raila may say, I want to go for the very, very, very final bullet, which was remaining somewhere. Martha Karua may say, I think I have a chance. But you see, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka said that, even from the beginning, he said that he will start his 2027 campaigns immediately. And that is what he has done. And I think I fully agree with him that he needs to start his campaigns immediately, because nobody knows whether he will be supported by Azimio or not. Maybe Azimio will be dead by that time. But him as a person, he has to be there. He has to be on his own. And I think all of us, we have learned.
Honorable Raila Odinga can dump Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka.
You never know, Victor. You never know. I think if the former president dubbed the current president, anything can happen. Let me say this.
Yes. What I'm saying, Bwana Speaker, is I'm not foreseeing a situation whereby Right Honorable Raila Odinga can dub Kalonzo Musyoka. You saw Right Honorable Raila is actually looking for a very strong person, a personality like of Kalonzo's caliber. You saw when he went to Homa Bay and then finally Kisumu, the kind of welcoming that he was accorded. I mean, it was of a presidential welcoming. And then number two, during the outpouring of their hearts, when the Luo Nyanza people were talking, they were saying, now that you have been with Papa for 3 consecutive elections, we are looking forward that you will be the one reaching us to Canaan. If you followed what transpired at the church yesterday, the different church in Kisumu, I mean, they poured their hearts that we are looking forward to you, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, to take us to Canaan, the promised land, that we have not yet been there. And in this case, during his talk, he said that received greeting from Right Honorable Raila Odinga. He will be joining us very soon. And then again, he went further and said, we are looking forward to Right Honorable Raila Odinga to arrive so that we can chart out the way forward. We need to have a fully formed cabinet, ministers, just in a reflection of what's actually in the government. And in this case, actually, they are ready to take up their job of opposition. They are ready to keep the government in checks and balance. And that is what they are ready. So they are not looking out for jobs, as some of us may be tempted to believe. When Kalonzo talked, he is talking like somebody who is now ready to remain in opposition and give the government in checks and balance. And that is the way to go. And then you are no longer also seeing Martha Karua being in most of these political forums. And it is more telling that the blessings of Mzee is actually on Kalonzo. If I'm not, I stand to be corrected. But that is my observation. You see Kalonzo's utterances. He's at home in Nyanza. He's at home with the Azimio. He's at home with these other guys from Ukambani. And they are saying, and these people, they don't want to leave that opportunity. That's why the speaker is saying, we are in and we are actually satisfied with the position that we are as opposition and that we don't need any job. If there will be any, you can give us. But count on us that we shall make our independent decision come 2027.
Our job, Victor, is to offer efficient oversight to the government. That is a very important job.
It is.
And one thing, Victor, I can tell you is that President William Samoei Ruto and his deputy are our leaders. All of us as Kenyans. All of us, whether we supported them or not. He is actually the president to Raila. He is the president to Kalonzo. He is the president to you. He is our president. And one thing I may say, Victor, though in politics, you are supposed to award your loyalist. It should not be open that whether your loyalist is not efficient enough, you have to give them. It's good to reward them. But I think what the president should do, in my opinion, and I'm sure he's well advised, because you are a president of all.
Yes.
The way he is asking Honorable Kalonzo to join him, let us see, and I think let us see him also reaching out to and getting, and I think that's what he has done, getting even cabinet secretaries from areas where there were no loyalists. I wish we could see somebody who was contesting for a seat in an Azimio-affiliated party getting a government position, not just their leaders. Because what they want to do, they want to finish Azimio from the head, not from the bottom. And one thing, Victor, I can tell you is that that proposal by my party leader to have a shadow cabinet, I fully support it. You never know, Victor. Maybe I will be the.
What will be comprised of, and what will be this cabinet, shadow cabinet, look like?
A shadow cabinet is a cabinet where there is an officer. Let me call them a CS now, opposition CS, who is in every government cabinet position. There is an opposition CS. Maybe I will be the opposition CS for you. Yeah, I'll be there now as the CS to deal with the minister who is there. Yeah, because you see, we need to have a robust opposition.
Right.
We need, when now Honorable Kalonzo is at the level of dealing with the president, we need the likes of myself dealing with the CSs and keep them on check. Because if we have an efficient opposition, believe you me, Victor, work will be done in this country. What we saw, and of course we are all students of history.
Yes.
The handshake, in my opinion, did some more harm.
Perhaps that is
than the benefit.
That's one of the approaches.
And we should learn from that.
The president is trying to wave to Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka.
And let the president tell us if he wants a handshake with the Azimio leaders led by Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Let him not beat around the bush. He should say, I've asked for a handshake with Honorable Kalonzo, and he has said no, not offering a job.
Okay.
Already being a former vice president, that is already a senior government position, Victor. We all know that very well. Being a former president, a former vice president, you are taken care of by the state for the rest of your life. So, which other job does he want? He has been an MP, he has been a senior minister, he has been a former vice president. What else do you want to give him, if not to demean him? Yes.
Dr. As we come to almost coming to a close, so this man, Kalonzo Musyoka, 2027, you are the one who said it at the beginning of this discussion, that all discussions are now heading towards Haruna Kalonzo Musyoka. And based on what you've seen across the media, he was in Kisumu for 2 days, in Nyanza region for 2 days. Honorable Raila Odinga, of course, is not there. What are we likely to see when Raila is back, finally is back, and of course he'll be briefed, this is what happened, and the way forward?
I think, Olo, what we should expect now, as per what Kalonzo said, is that they are going to form a cabinet, which is a replication of the current government of His Excellency President Ruto. And this actually, these are the cabinets which shall be giving the government, or their counterparts, their fellow, because we have the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Energy, we have Minister, all these ministries. So the same ministers will, I mean, the Azimio will come up with the same team of ministers, which I may call it shadow ministers. And they will be counter-checking whatever their fellow government ministers are doing.
Yes.
And that is the only way, because they will be putting up very qualified people. If those who are in the docket of finance, they will get also a very qualified, a very competent person who is actually sound in the issues to do with finance.
Exactly.
Those who are sound in the issues to do with energy. Environment. And also, so we are expecting that shadow government to be formed after the arrival of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So in this case, what is going to happen is that now that these people...
And I would suppose that the president is aware of this.
Kalonzo has openly said yesterday that we are going to form an opposition or a shadow cabinet, which will be a reflection of what we have in the current government.
Yes.
What does that have to do? It is because they are now agreeing that they are in the opposition and they want to give the government in checks and balance. The only way they can do is to get professionals who are well acquainted with these respective dockets, so that they can give the government in checks and balance. And that in itself alone shows that Kalonzo is not ready, will not be ready very soon to join the current government per se. And in any case, he wants to be in the opposition and to build himself for the 2027.
I think it's good to say there is no chance. It's good to summarize, there is no chance of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka joining the government. There is no chance. Because we all know that, and he himself is determined to win this presidency in 2027. Yeah. And now, having this forming of the shadow cabinet is part of the journey. We have to keep every government department in check. We need somebody there to keep every government department in check. And of course, the president also has to, as much as he is ruling now, he also has to prepare for 2027.
Exactly.
which is exactly what he's doing.
Ahead in Kenyan politics. They said people have not even heard about 2022 elections. And, the cabinet is still being formed, and we're talking about 2027. Politics is just interesting.
We cannot survive without politics.
Politics is sweet. As
very sweet.
It's part of our food.
Part of our food. Finally, gentlemen, before we come to a close, there's a story here that I want us to talk about briefly. Plan to unfold Kenya Kwanza parties into UDA draws mixed reactions. This is what happened to Jubilee, and that aspect now. And when you heard what happened in the Supreme Court, in Parliament, now the declaration, which is now the majority, and now I hear there is another one at the Nairobi County Assembly, which is now the majority. This is the Azimio in Nairobi County Assembly, or the Kenya Kwanza. What do you make of this, perhaps in 1 minute, legally speaking, to fold parties into UDA as a party?
That's a political strategy towards 2027, and maybe that could inform us that it is maybe the current president who spearheaded that idea of folding all Jubilee Alliance parties.
That's exactly what happened to Jubilee.
I think that is what we are seeing. Maybe in 2017, maybe it is him who spearheaded that, which is a good political strategy. And in Kenya Kwanza, there was some, actually right now, UDA would, even without talking about Kenya Kwanza, would be having so many MPs, senators, all those positions. But of course, because of the rivalry, like look at what happened in Kilifi governorship, for example. If PA for Kingi and UDA were one, believe you me, I don't know whether Mungaro would have won for the governor of Kilifi. So it's a good strategy, but of course, every strategy, there are consequences. So I'm sure they are hoping that whatever happened in 2017 when they formed Jubilee as a party, and they of course gained from it, and they were one team, and they were able to take so many seats. Maybe that's what they are aiming at. But of course, there will be some resistance from some of the parties who wants to stand alone. And it is upon them now to make sure that this merger of these parties is done in the correct way. But Victor, I can tell you, politics, and all these political parties are vehicles. If you see this vehicle will take me to Canaan, you'll board that vehicle. And if you see it will not take you, you'll take another one. So I think these game plans have already begun.
Your final remarks kindly on that?
I think the current government although has every good intention to solidify its political pace by building up a party that is very formidable. And I think the idea of uniting together with those who are willing and able to support one another, to join the UDA, I think I'm not seeing anything wrong there. What I'm only seeing is that the motive is to make a formidable party that come 2027. You see, when we have more parties coming together into one party, we shall now be counting the representatives as UDA and not as ANC and not as all these other parties that came up together to form the Kenya Kwanza. So I think it is a good and a very positive step ahead, but also it depends on the goodwill of the individual parties.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much. They say that too much work and less play made
dilute.
Exactly. Adult boy. All right, that's where we wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming. We'll be talking to Dr. Joseph Rotich, who is an economist, but decided to say no. I'm playing politics. All right, and we have got Kevin Katisia, who is an advocate as well as Speaker of County Assembly of Kitui. Let's just hope that something will be done in Kitui and the larger part of Eastern and even those as of Tigani.
Apart from hoping, we'll do our best as leaders to make sure that there is a peace in Kitui.
Absolutely. You have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
All right, and thank you for your valid company. We are taking a break, but GMK is not yet done. Doreen Arange has some brilliant brains here to talk about family check. What's she going to be checking about? Doreen, up next with family check. Bye-bye.
His Highness only keeps her around because she holds her ladyship's eyes. Eyes? Lady Suzanne stole her current eyes from Ali's mother.
His love for Ali's mother must have been profound. If my guess is correct, Suzanne must have been involved in what happened to his mother.
If I told you he was really returning, would you believe it?
You aren't messing with me, are you?
Betsy, this time I'm absolutely certain.
She's in a cell.
How dare you?
Saini saa ngapi? Sina saa.
Woi! Unakaga mafambaya. So unajua mkaka ako na mechanical problems.
Wewe usiingize huko ndani. Karibu nipate nini? Cesarean stroke kwa roho.
Una hema vipi baada ngoma moja MC baada ngoma moja tu yela na Suru live and direct ndani ya KBC Shoni Grapevine. Keep it locked. Kong
enter party all the girl them go shake their body. Nasikia walevi huota na bia lakini kuna siri ndawa ibia leo.
Michael Adebayo Olanyika, being his true name, is known for his mega hits like Girlfriend, Bounce, Dior, and Snapchat.
Bad man drip to the car, spot cars parked on the right spot. Bad man slick and you know, bad man looking good in the
Influencer of the Year award goes to Beryl Itimbi.
The winners are the TMI podcast.
I never used to believe in love.
Huu ni moto, na kama hauwezani nao mtenge.
How about a night out? Acha kumzuzua Maya, unaniudhi sana na mimi sipendi kuudhiwa. Maya kuhuru sahi, ukitia aibu sio lazima bro.
Na sioni sababu ya nini haswa kuingilia kazi zetu.
Tulikuwa tukutane hapa na tumekuja naye hapa mara nyingi. Sio kama waweza mjua. Unajua kama nakupenda.
Welcome back to the program. You're still on Good Morning Kenya. We continue your pace with the day's conversation. Time for our last conversation this Monday morning. Our focus on matters family check, centered on just policy, planning, and re-strategizing the education sector. This is what forms the basis of our conversation this morning. My guests are here to help us converse around this particular topic in the next 40 minutes or so. To my extreme left, that is Dr. Rosa Ko, who is the founder, Sochin Research Institute and Core Academy. Right next to her is Mr. Noah Miller, who is equally the founder, Sochin Research Institute and Core Academy. Perhaps I can begin with you, Dr. Rosa, just to help us understand about Sochin Research Institute, when it was formed, the idea and the mandate of it.
So the idea was we felt the need to have a think tank and a trust-based institute in Kenya, but not just for the Kenya purpose, for the global South, for the purpose of instilling the social scientific inquiry to investigate the policy-related issues. So that's pretty much the brief about our institute. Yes.
Okay. Which year was this?
2017.
2017.
Yes.
So sort of 5 years since when it was established. Mr. Miller, 5 years later, in your own analysis, would you say that the gaps in which this institute was established to mitigate has actually served its purpose?
I think we're slowly seeing some progress. So one key feature of the Sochin Research Institute is that it's data-driven. We very much focus on evidence-based research, and we are slowly seeing more data come to Kenya, although I think there's still a need for more data and more transparency. And I think that data is crucially important to make decisions. Without proper data, you don't know the situation properly, you can't plan, and you can't measure the beginning state with the end state. So I hope there'll be more data, especially in the education sector, so you can make proper policy decisions.
I like that. More data to see how best you could make, changes in the policy in terms of our education sector. And actually, even as we progressively move with this conversation, we'll be touching on the issue of data, internet, technology, and see how we can work around that. But now, coming back home to this particular conversation, I understand that yes, the task force is still underway in terms of reviewing the education system. But again, let me just pick your brain on this one. Did we really need an overhaul in our education sector?
There seems to be a lot of confusion about the CBC and where it came from, how it's being implemented. And I think you have to always revisit systems and policies and constantly improve. So I think there was a need to maybe update the Kenyan education system and align it with international best practices, all the while considering local practices as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to have a side-by-side comparison and align international best practices with local best practices, because after all, Kenya is the leading nation in East Africa, and education is the way that advantage will be ensured going forward. And you can't lag behind on education and somehow miss out on future trends, technology, build up the right industries. So I think you always have to have a reform and an investigation of where we are. And my hope is that the task force reaches the right conclusions and puts Kenya education on the right track.
So basically what I'm getting from you is that it was necessary. There was a need to actually transit from what was to what is currently being reviewed at the moment.
I think you have to modernize a system that is very much focused in the past on rote memorization, on assessments, and doesn't align with the critical skills students need to have for future career paths. And unfortunately, maybe some time was lost because there was a lot of questioning about the CBC. The implementation was, I think, a little bit postponed or slowed down. So I think now is the perfect time to have a reset. With a new government in place, now's the time to look at things, to get it right, and then implement quickly.
I hear you. Dr. Rosa, do you share the same idea? Mr. Miller says that indeed it was time for us to update our education system, just alluded to Kenya being one of those countries, the Eastern Africa, so clearly one of those important things to be focusing on. What are your views on this one?
Totally agree with Mr. Miller on that issue, and a lot of, I'm sure the Kenyan parents and the educators and politicians in the education field, the education specialists, whether it's private or public, they've been going through a lot of turmoil. Within the last few years, we had coronavirus, so we had a lot of external factors that we cannot really control. So I think it's a very difficult time globally, and now we're talking about how can we make ends meet. So we're not even talking about education. How can we survive? So it's a very, very difficult period. And that's why we need to really work together. And I think a collective action is really key to solve any kind of problems, especially now. So I think this kind of the current talk and the effort to revisit and restructure and is a very, very important. But at the same time, we know that as implementing the certain ideas and plans are very, very difficult and a lot of unknown factors. So I think we're going in the right direction, in my opinion. Yes.
Just talk to me a bit about that factor of implementing, because you've mentioned it, you know, just a bit. And oftentimes, especially when it comes to our own country, we keep saying all the time that the problem is not the policy, the problem is not the idea, even the system may not really quite be the problem is just the implementation process. How do we move past idea and actually actualizing what's on paper?
Yes, that's as you know, that collective action is very difficult for any society, and I think the devolution, the current effort is a very good way of implementing all the good ideas we have. And especially I like the way the county is in charge of the primary, the pre-education, and the upper level is more focused on the primary and secondary. So there is a clear division about what to do, and so that kind of clear division of tasks and operation and implementation is very important. So I think it will be a successful track this year.
All right, I hear you. The former, or the previous system, I should say, was as it's been termed, you know, mostly centered on churning out individuals who can compete in the job market. Is this one of those things that you equally share in terms of idea, and perhaps largely what was the undoing of the previous system?
I think everybody around the world is linked to the international system these days. So it's important to have, you know, job growth in Kenya, but also to connect students and graduates with international companies. And I would say the recent success of attracting companies such as Microsoft or Amazon, Visa, shows that Kenya can compete and is competing in that market, and has in the past produced the right graduates. But I think what we need to look at is how, as a nation, can the standards be increased. So it's not only looking at the top talent in Kenya and making sure that, you know, international companies are attracted to Kenya. It's how do you make sure that no child is left behind, to quote former President Obama. So when I look at the KCSE results, for example, it's great that we have top performers, but what about the performers people don't talk about? What about the, you know, lowest performers, or the, you know, the third quintile? That's where you have to really have policies that raise standards for Kenya, because a lot of growth has to also come internally from Kenya. It's not only about attracting foreign companies. How do you nurture domestic industries, and how do you build manufacturing companies and service companies that provide jobs for Kenyans? That can not only be done through international investment, it has to be driven largely from Kenyan companies.
So then, Mr. Miller, what do we do about this? Because you talked about the top talent, not just focusing on them, how we can also leverage on everyone, not just taking a select few who would attract foreign companies or foreign investors. And you also talked about the 2021 KCSE, which just happened last year. And right now, even as we speak, in next month, you're looking at the other final exam. But then less focus is normally put on those that don't really quite perform, which is what you touched. How do we go about that then?
I think you have to go back to that data issue. We have to understand better why a large number of students, sadly, are not performing too well in their primary or secondary education. So what are the reasons driving that? Is it because of a lack of teacher training? Is it a lack of facilities? Is it a lack of parental support? Education is a very difficult business because a lot of factors come together. to produce a successful student who knows how to navigate the world. And the world starts in Kenya. So I think what is necessary is a comprehensive review at the local level in each county and understand the dynamics of each county better and how education is delivered or not delivered in some cases, and then have tailored, localized solutions. That I think is key. And that's where devolution comes in, of course. And we really hope that with the new government, devolution is, used as a key to deliver services effectively to students, because the students are the future of Kenya.
Sure.
And you can't fail the students.
I hear you. Dr. Rosa, in your interaction, even as you came up with forming of the Sochin Institute, perhaps for this 5 years or even more, what has been what you've seen out there? What has been what you've seen out there in the market in terms of students not performing quite well? What is the problem?
So I had, through the Sochin Research Institute, I had a very invaluable experience of meeting the people who are experts but who are not really well known to the media and the outside world, but they are experts in their special field. And also we didn't just focus on education per se, because I feel the education is intricately related and connected to other parts of society. So like Mr. Miller already suggested, I focus on data and evidence to have the right inquiry about the current situation. And things are not as bleak and pessimistic as a lot of people think. And for instance, you get not a really great result from the KCSE. But on the other hand, we get a lot of amazing results from the TVETs. Their products are amazing. And when I had opportunity to work with the patent office and the technology inventions, I realized that there are amazing talents in Kenya across all the youths we're talking about. And so the results, the data that we get on the newspaper may not be the right indicator and to really assess what's going on, because we have to really understand what has happened in the past and what's going on now, and then we can plan for the future, better future. Everybody wants a better future, right? But we have to understand that do we want a better future in a way that, do you want to nurture children who grow up to be independent in their thinking, and they take the initiative to look for what they want, instead of being tamed to some kind of bureaucratic or didactic kind of scheme of understanding things, which is, in my opinion, it's very outdated idea. The latter is very outdated to the current changes that are taking place. So things are, in my opinion, very positive when you look at all the factors around, but we need a better indexes and indicators to have a more meaningful conversation, instead of just working on the outdated data that means nothing. So,
exactly. That's why I wanted to get your perspective, because then you are on ground to just tell us exactly how things are there. Because oftentimes you tend to think that those at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of performance forms the bulk and the chunk, and like there's no hope and future for them. But what we are getting from is that actually there's more to those results at the end of the day. And we'll come to TVETs momentarily, but then before we get to TVETs, let's come to the technology bit of it. How do we leverage on technology to sort of like shift and shape and change our education system or sector in terms of re-strategizing, Mr. Miller?
I think technology has a huge role to play in education. It cannot substitute the traditional classroom, but it has to complement the classroom. So some steps have been already taken to deliver ICT lessons in classrooms, to connect students with the internet, things like that. And I think you have to then look beyond just the infrastructure issue. So are the teachers qualified to have deliver meaningful ICT lessons? Are there good exercises students do? We always hear about amazing programming schools and coding here in Kenya, but let's see if we can devolve that to the lower levels. And again, not just look at the top performers, but really imbue skills early on to students. So I think it takes time, and maybe the training has to happen at the national level and then devolve to the county level. But I think that really starts with the teachers. You can't have good ICT development among students without good facilities, the right infrastructure, and properly trained teachers. And you have to then also make sure that the teachers understand how technology is influencing our daily lives. And again, it's not just about the programmers who work for these high-tech companies. How can you apply technology to better agricultural practices? How can you develop marketplaces to sell goods? And if you slowly inculcate students with this kind of thinking, then I think technology can be leveraged and can really magnify the impact it has on the Kenyan economy.
So then it needs to start from the top level as it cascades down.
A little bit. I think you really have to nurture both dynamics at the same time.
Okay.
A lot of growth can happen also from the ground level up.
All right.
And not everything
the bottom
is,
up, as we say.
Exactly, bottom up, right? So I think really you have to nurture both sides, the top down and the bottom up. In the past, you had industrial policies, maybe in the 70s and 80s in the Tiger Nations, which were top down, and that worked for those countries. But everybody talks about the bottom-up approach here. And Kenya is a very entrepreneurial, dynamic country. And that should be taken advantage of and nurtured. And then let's see what happens if you actually have both approaches, top-down and bottom-up.
See what works best and then capitalize on that
Exactly.
one. All right, I hear you. The CS nominee for Education, Ezekiel Machogu, last week while being vetted, touched a bit on this issue of internet and technology, that if appointed to this position, this is something he will look into, trying to see how every part of this country will be able to have access to that, so that every child and student can benefit from that. What I want to get from you, Dr. Rosa, is that how practical is this? And given that you're someone in this kind of space, what recommendations would you give so that this one actually gets to reach far and wide?
Yeah, so if you read our paper, I hope you have a chance to get into our website, our Social Research Institute, Facebook, and we do have Twitter account. We published quite a lot of papers in regard to the government resources for EdTech related resources they can provide. It's very fairly easy to think about providing technology as a simple resource. Just give it to the student, as many students as you can do. You provide like iPhones or technology-related desktops or any kind of devices. You would think that make you connected to the world. But as you know, that simplified resource form may not be what we need. But it has to be done. It has to be done. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, we had to do other things under the umbrella of providing these simple resources as internet technology to all over the country. That's a good idea, but at the same time, once we have that technology from a child or a parent point of view, there is a lot of disadvantages and harm that come with that connection, right? So there are so much dangers and hacking, and there are a lot of nefarious activities happening because of the internet. So those are safety, measurements, and constantly being alert and how to navigate correctly all this information overload that we have is very, very important. But just giving out the tablets and the devices, I don't think it's a good idea, but at the same time, it has to be done. So we have a very long way to go in terms of how to take advantage of technology in the current education system. Yes.
I hear you. So giving out the tablets or the phones could be a good idea, but maybe not a good place to start from?
I mean, we have to start from that point. We have no doubt. I mean, we cannot be lag behind other countries. That's where everybody's going. So we have to do it. And also the Kenya is the technology hub in East Africa. So we have to be at the forefront of it. So the current efforts are all good, and it's the correct way. But at the same time, we have to do other measures concurrently to make sure that it goes in the right direction and all the right devices do its own, our planned benefits for the children. Yes.
So just very quickly, what are some of these things that we need to like sort of bring on board? Because you talked about we need to do sort of like other things for them to go concurrently and in tandem for us to achieve the goal.
First of all, we did when we did the Search and Research Institute, we received grant from the U.S. Embassy in Kenya to launch 500 vulnerable youth cybersecurity training.
Okay.
So identifying the vulnerable youth was not as easy as people hoped. We did it scientifically. I identified the people who use a lot of internet and they are very connected. So they tend to bring. There's a high risk of bringing harm to society. So we identified those vulnerable youth for this program. In the process, I realized that cybersecurity training is very, very imperative even for small children and also for the parents and guardians and teachers. So that's probably the first thing we need to do, to have a very solid cybersecurity training and about the internet and technology. Yes.
I like that. Train first, then now you can give, so that people can also have a good understanding of what exactly it is that you're giving them. And I really have seen you agreeing quite a lot with what Dr. Rosa is saying there, Mr. Miller. Nonetheless, still sticking on that issue of technology, because it's really quite one of those quite pertinent topics to discuss. And again, the previous government had also, sort of begun such kind of a program, and this was cut out in the whole period that they were supposed to be in government, 2013 to 2022, but we only saw a small section of Kenyans students getting this laptop. Is it a time where we need to start revisiting this project again, and perhaps how different would we do it?
Well, of course you have to revisit projects and look at the lessons learned. Look at the failures, and you have to be honest about it. So I don't want to go into the specifics of this project. I'm not an expert in this anyway.
Sure.
But I think the idea was the correct one. You have to give students or the people the tools. And that's what technology is. It's a tool. Technology doesn't generate things by itself. It's a means to an end. And I think it's an interesting cause and effect relationship too. You have to have the technology there, so you have to distribute maybe devices, you have to establish fiber optic lines, give people the infrastructure to then use the tools appropriately. But it's also very easy to misuse these tools. I mean, we just came out of the election period recently where disinformation and misinformation was rampant during the election. And unfortunately, the technology tool was misused in that sense. So it's not about only presenting tools and solutions, but it's also teaching people the right use, the right ethics behind using technology, the right productivity means. It's about nurturing entrepreneurship and see how a new business idea can be implemented through technology. So it's not just a simple matter of providing resources, it's how do you use these resources? And I think then again, you have to start with the measurement aspect, like we've heard many times. What is the situation analysis? What are the industries that can benefit from the technology? And how do I relate that to the people and have them implement it? So it's about using tools better, more effectively, more productively. So the technology education really is quite holistic, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay, I hear you. So then what is the place of teachers in all of this? Because you can talk about how important it is to even deliver these tools, much as all of you have said that it's important for us to start at a point of understanding about these tools at the end of the day. But what is the place of training, and even particularly for those that will be administering these tools to these children or kids or students at the end of the day?
I think teachers have to instill a lifelong desire to learn.
All right.
So they really have to kind of ignite the spark and the curiosity in kids, in young learners. And that requires a lot of effort among teachers. It requires teachers to also be holistic thinkers and to think about application of technology. So I think teachers have a large burden to some extent, large shoes to fill, because it's not easy. But learning is a lifelong experience, and it has to be taught that way. And I think teachers have to find the students.
And an everyday activity.
Exactly.
Every day you learn something.
Every day you learn something. It doesn't stop in adulthood either. It's really every day and up until you're 50, 60, 70 years old. You have to constantly adapt. So teachers somehow have to instill that desire that spark, that that creativity in the students' minds. Maybe it doesn't happen with every student. I mean, as a teacher, it's very difficult to impart things equally among the whole classroom. But if you can identify a few change makers in that class who then go on and create multiplier effects as they get older and impact society as their business ventures get bigger and bigger, then the teacher has done their job very, very successfully.
All right. So then this is just a holistic kind of approach that we need to get into some of these issues. All right, Dr. Rosa, even as you touch on the policy, re-strategizing, there's some quarters that are saying, as we talked about earlier, policies might not really be quite the biggest of issues. And again, also when you look at the system of education in our country, in some parts, you'd get 1 to 60. So 1 teacher to 60 students. In some places, it's even 1 to 70. And some of these teachers are even poorly remunerated. So then is this some of these things that we need to be looking into to perhaps strategize the entire education sector? What would you speak to this?
Do you know how many students I had? I grew up in South Korea, and I moved to U.S. As an immigrant family, South Korean immigrant family when I was in high school. And at that time, we still do. We have a 633 system, 6 years of primary school, and at that time they call it elementary school, and 3 years of middle school, and 3 years of high school. And we had 80 students in class. We had 80.
Against 1 teacher?
Yes. Yes. So
then this is an issue that actually comes across it.
So I tell my stories to my Kenyan college students and high school students. They just drop out of chair, like, how can you teach for 80 students? It's doable.
How do you even know the name of each of these students?
We do know. I still communicate with some of my high school friends, even the middle school. It's not a really good idea to think that there's a perfect ratio for the teacher to student, and realistically we know that that's not possible in Kenya. so I don't think it's good to really push for a discussion that's not realistically possible. I'm a very realistic person, so my way of viewing things is what can we do most given the system we have, and we have a lot of obstacles. But there's no perfect system and there's no perfect solution. But at the same time, the mindset is very important. The teachers have the important mindset about the education, also the students. But at the same time, the parents have a huge role in the whole scheme. And so I cannot say, of course, if you have a small ratio of teachers to students, that's the ideal thing. But I realize that I feel like I'm looking at the Korea in 1980s, even like 1990s, when I look at my students in the high school, even colleges. So, but at the time, I had a lot of fun. Still, despite I got my PhD in the U.S. with all the 80 to 1 the teacher student to teacher ratio from Korea. So I'm very proud of my heritage, and of course a lot of bad things happened. There were a lot of things, the negative things that affect any society, any school system. But despite of all that, I still had a very good education, I believe. All public school. I never went to private. And so the teacher-student ratio is a very important issue that we need to tackle. But at the same time, before we do that, we have to find out, do we have a good training for the teachers? Do we have a good curriculum in place for the students? Do we have, despite all the hardships and obstacles we have, do we have a still learning environment, the people, for the students and teachers and parents to feel positive about the whole situation?
I hear you. This is actually a conversation I would have wanted us to extrapolate a bit, but I can hear my director say that we are almost getting pinched for time. And I wouldn't want us to exit without touching on the issue of TVETs. Why? Because also in our very own country, we've had some technical institutions being upgraded to universities. The very famous one is the Kenya Polytechnic, now Technical University of Kenya. Is this one of those good moves, and does it change the dynamics of it being a technical institute? Mr. Miller, what are your thoughts on this one?
My thoughts would be that there might be too many universities in Kenya. So we have a split between public and private universities, and across the board it seems like most universities are having budgetary issues, which makes me wonder, as a finance person myself, if this system is sustainable. And it's very good to have aspirations to have a university degree and to use it as a ticket to success. However, I think incredible skills and innovations come from TVETs. So I would actually say you have to emphasize that system and help those students more, because somebody who graduates from a TVET has incredible skills to maybe open up a small, medium-sized enterprise and create jobs and employment for people.
All right.
And a university student may not be able to do that.
I feel like I've cut you short of that one, but just in the interest of time, we have to finish at this point. Nonetheless, thank you so much, Lady and Jen, for making time. Dr. Rosa Cole, to my extreme left, who is the founder, Sochin Research Institute and Core Academy. Right next to her is Mr. Noah Miller, equally also founder, Sochin Research Institute and Core Academy, largely just looking at some of those policy gaps, re-strategizing the education sector in our country. Good place to end this conversation, and ultimately, good morning, Kenya. I'm Doreen Arange Okello on behalf of the entire team. Asante sana. Till tomorrow, good morning.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't.
Saini saa ngapi? Sina saa.
Woi! Unakaa kama vampire. Si unajua mkaka ako na mechanical problems.
Wewe usiingize huko ndani. Karibu nipate nini? Cesarean stroke kwa roho.
Unahema vipi baada ngoma moja MC? Baada ngoma moja tu Yela na Silver live and direct ndani ya KBC Shoni Grapevine. Keep it locked. Kong.
Enter body, all the girl them go shake their body.
Nasikia walevi huota bia, lakini kuna siri ndawaibia leo.
Michael Adebayo Olanyika, being his true name, is known for his mega hits like Girlfriend, Bounce, Dior, and